afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Dice Tower Midwest Annex. I'm your host, Mike DeLisio. It's lovely to see you all. It's lovely to be back here. And, I really I appreciated that love from Z. That was just, it warmed the cockles of my heart to hear Z so excited to be able to throw the stream to his good pal, I'd like to remind him, his good pal, one Mr. Mike DeLisio. And thank you, Bonnie. Bonnie already coming through, letting me know you can see and hear me. That's fantastic. That's all I need to know. I'm ready to rock and roll. And look, in solidarity for all of my friends down there in South Florida going through this gaming marathon, I decided to stay up all night in solidarity with all my friends. And then I thought better of it, and I got a really good night of sleep. So, hey, I'm happy to be here, ready to go. Looking forward to another 3 hours with you, some of my favorite people, keeping this marathon rocking and rolling. But let me remind all of you, what do I have, a low angle now? Well, look, I don't have a lot of options here. We're going with here. We're going with this. That's about as good as I can do. All right. I want to remind everybody that there is a contest throughout this entire gaming marathon. We have been sponsored by Folded Space. Thank you very much, Folded Space, for helping to sponsor this gaming marathon. They make some nice products. I actually have I meant to bring it out and I forgot. I have the Dinosaur World insert from Folded Space. It's very, very good. If you, yes, you, would like a chance to win one of 5 €20 vouchers for the Folded Space website, all you need to do is write to us at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the words Folded Space. Folded Space. Which is also the plot of 3 out of 4 Christopher Nolan movies. Some sort of folded space. Thank you, Loopy, for putting in the information as well in the chat. That is fantastic. All right, there we go. Contest taken care of. Contest information taken care of. I've got my hydration here. Now, yesterday, can you believe it's already been yesterday? Yesterday, there was a bit of tomfoolery, shenanigans, one might say. One might. That this was something other than the sparkling water that it purports to be on the can. This is my bubbly sparkling water. This marathon is not sponsored by Bubbly, so, drink your whatever sparkling water of your choice. If you're a La Croix person, go La Croix. You like Perrier? You have a Perrier, right? I'm not endorsing Bubbly necessarily. I like Bubbly, but look, it may not be your thing. But they were trying to imply that there was something other than water in this. And so I'm going to open it. Listen. That's the sound of refreshment, folks. That's the sound of refreshment right there. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. All right. Kabuki's asking, is it 11 o'clock? No, here it is noon. I'm on the same time zone as the folks in the Dice Tower main studios there. It's not, this is, who was saying they hadn't seen the blueberry flavor? Reed. This is, blueberry pomegranate. Oh, blueberry pomegranate. That's an exciting taste combination, don't you think? Tastes like carbon. All right, there we go. There we go. More conspiracy theories, rampant conspiracy theories in the chat. All right, well, folks, once again, enough prelude. Let's get right into it. So, I'm going to be doing another live top 10 list. What? Another live top 10 list, you say, Mike? Mike, how can you possibly give us this much golden material? Well, look, I'm nothing if not generous. And so, yes, you're getting another top 10 list. This is going to be my addition, right, to the top 10 deck building games. So earlier, not even, maybe 2 weeks ago, if that, they did in the main studio the top 10 deck building games. And there were some choices on there. Sure. I mean, I think there were 4 of them, and they each had 10 with some crossovers. So 40-ish games, right? But were they the best deck builders? I think not. And so, obviously, I feel like it's my duty to you, the Dice Tower audience, to let you know what truly are the 10 best deck building games, because I would be really not doing my job if I did not tell you those things. So let's get right into it here. Let's get into those top 10 deck building games. All right. Take a look here in the chat. Since I've got this luxury. I don't usually have the luxury of a live chat that I can interact with during the top 10s. I mean, sometimes I do, but I actually can just call them up here. John, thank you for the super chat. Hello to you from Michigan. You're not far away. You're right just north. Okay. Will I be in Georgia with the Dice Tower van? I don't believe that's the plan. That's a pretty good haul for me. If Tom had requested that I go down there, certainly I would do it. But there's probably more that I need to be doing here. Boots on the ground in Indianapolis, Indiana, the home of Gen Con, which is the ultimate journey that they're taking to get there. All right. Okay. Let's get rocking and rolling. All right. So my number 10 deck builder is first of all, before I get into that, let me give you my methodology. So my methodology behind this was, these were my 10 favorite games that have deck building in them. All right, so here we go. That's kind of about it. To some extent, I tried to keep it to games that deck building seemed like at least a central, if not the central driving force behind the game, or the kind of the main mechanic, usually, in most cases, maybe not always, but it felt like such a big part of it. Thank you, Liz. It is fun. It is nice. It's a luxury to be able to do this. All right, here we go. My number 10 is It's a deck building game that does not feel like other deck building games that I've played. My number 10 is Fort, okay? So this is a game that actually is a re-implementation, a re-theming of a game that was called, I think, SPQR. It's Latin, so I'm more than likely wrong. But I think that was the acronym. And it was a very kind of a sparse graphic design. And Fort is been redone and repackaged by Leader Games, who always does a great job with their production, and Fort is no exception to that. A beautiful production with art by Kyle Farron, who I am a big fan of. Their art that they do with games like Root and Oath, and also Fort. But in Fort, you are playing as children. And you are kind of on the playground, and you're building forts, right? And you're doing this through a deck building mechanic, of course, since this is a deck building list. SPQF, Loopy, 2018. Thank you. That was the original game. Fort is the redo of that. And so the kind of the hook behind this game is that you've got some kids, basically friends, that are going to be in your neighborhood. They're like kind of in front of you. And other players can take kids from out of your front yard, or I can't remember what it's called, neighborhood or something along those lines. But it just adds a neat little twist, a very, very interactive feeling to a mechanism that doesn't always bring that forward. You can play a lot of deck building games that don't, well, some have very direct interaction. You can have deck building games where they're just like straight battlers, right? But there are also games where they don't feel terribly interactive. This is an interactive deck builder with a really cool theme that I think works very well, even though it's a re-theme. I don't know how it played as a Roman-themed game, because I didn't play that one, but it works very well for me here. You've got your resources are pizza and toys. What's the matter with that? I mean, there's nothing better than that. You've got squirt guns in the game. What else do you want? My number 10 is Fort. Somebody said they didn't like the look of this game. Bonnie, you cannot stand the art? Well, look, it's every person for themselves. I adore the art of Kyle Farron, and I like it in Fort. All right. My number 9 is a game that surprised me with how much I liked it, because I felt like it was trying to do something that shouldn't work. My number 9 is... Oh, let me take Fort off of there. Woo! Peek behind the curtain. Moonrakers. My number 9 is Moonrakers. So, Moonrakers is a game from IV Studios. Again, another beautiful production. I'm not going to apologize for liking games that look good. That's just part of me as a gamer. You know, I've over and over again, called myself a shallow gamer, and this is another gorgeous, gorgeous production. And in Moonrakers, you're not only deck building, but you're also doing a bit of kind of almost semi-co-op type of thing going on, a bit of negotiation where you've got kind of these missions that you're going out on. And you can go out on these missions alone, or you can ask people, you can invite people to come on these missions with you. And if they do that, then they're going to be playing cards from their hands, as in addition to the cards that you're playing from your hands. But you have to decide how you're going to split the rewards that are on that mission card. And it felt like it shouldn't work, because these types of games can oftentimes be very fragile. But I have found that Moonrakers works very, very well. Not only with that aspect, with the deck building being a big part of the game, being able to improve your ship, being able to bring in crew members that give you some abilities and things along those lines. So I really like this game because I feel like it does something different in the deck building genre while still feeling and keeping that core mechanism. Bonnie says they think that they saw Randy and Ellen play it on We Game Together, and it would not go over well with their group. That is a good point, okay? This is a game that is going to require a group that is into that idea of negotiating, that is willing to kind of have that. And not every group is going to love that. So I'm glad you brought that up, Bonnie. That is true. Luckily, the groups that I've played it with, it's gone over very, very well. I have not had a bad game of Moonrakers. Now, to be fair, almost all of my games of Moonrakers have been with the Dice Tower crew. And, even with that, even with playing with people like Z and Chris, I've still had very good experiences, and so that should tell you something right there. If I can enjoy a game that I'm playing with Z and Chris, it's a good game. Am I right? My number 9 favorite deck builder, Moonrakers. Keeping an eye on the chat here. Okay, we're still doing fine. I know, right? I mean, put that on the box. IV Studios, put that on the box. I played Moonrakers with Z and Chris, and I still had a good time. Mike Delisio. Get ready for another print run. You put that on the box. All right. My number 7 is a game that, it's interesting. I don't mention this game a whole lot, but I'm mentioning it in both of the top 10s that I did over these last couple of days. And that is A Study in Emerald from Martin Wallace. And the reason why I don't mention this game a lot is because it's a hard game to get played. It is a very weird game. I mentioned it yesterday when I was doing my top 10 designers. So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, go back and watch that. Spoiler, Martin Wallace is one of my favorite designers. But this game is just so odd. Hard to teach, hard to learn, hard to wrap your mind around. Teams, but you don't know who's on your team. I don't want to repeat myself too much from yesterday, but this is a game that if you get a group that is willing to take the time to learn it, get comfortable with it, kind of figure out the meta, because this is a game that is going to have a meta build if you're playing with the same group. And it's best if you play with the same group and kind of work some of these things out. It is such a satisfying experience. weird, wacky, out there, but a really good game that deck building drives it, but there's a lot more going on. But the game wouldn't work without the deck building. So that's why it's on this list. And Darby is asking version 2. So I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm going to repeat it again. This is the one that's available. Second edition, the one with the picture here is the one that's available. Okay, let me put up a picture of the components for the first game. All right, it's a little dark, unfortunately, but this is the first edition of the game that I'm showing you right here. Okay, although this is one from a different language, doesn't matter. Okay, they're both good. The second edition is a slightly more streamlined version of the game, slightly easier probably to bring to the table. Okay, oh no, Kabuki said maybe not either are available. That's a shame. That's a shame. Although I kind of get it. It is a very weird title. It's a niche game. It's not probably one that you're not going to look at. You're not going to see a Study in Emerald in Target, right? It ain't happening. Not that kind of a game. But the answer is either one is good. Either one is good. I prefer the first edition because it's weirder, more out there. And if you're going to play a game that's weird and more out there, might as well just go to 11, which basically that one does. But second edition is fine. I know the first edition was very, very hard to get a hold of and probably still is. And it's probably very expensive. I have a strong sense the second edition is probably not that hard to get a hold of used. And so if it's interesting to you, that is probably where you can get it. Where does that title come from? This is a short story by Neil Gaiman. Hugo award-winning story that you just put up there, Loopy. There you go. Indeed. And I have read the story as well. All right, so there was my number 7. Man, I'm already at number 7? I got to slow down here. I got to have a bubbly break. All right. That's my number 7, A Study in Emerald. That apparently Martin Wallace can't even get his hands on a copy of it. That's a shame. And it wouldn't surprise me if that's true. I've heard that designers oftentimes have a hard time getting copies of their own games. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, I just got done at the beginning of this by saying that, oh, darn it, I skipped number 8. I skipped number 8. Bruce just told me I skipped number 8. Hey, Bruce. You got a sneak peek at my number 7. A game that I like a lot. Just slightly less than Study in Emerald is Paperback Adventures. Yeah, so this is my number 8, Paperback Adventures. This is a game that is a kind of follow-up to a game called Paperback, which is a deck-building word game, all right, which is very good. Then there was also a game called Hardback that the same designer did that was kind of a riff on that, a little bit more complex. And then Paperback Adventures is the most recent iteration of this system, which is a really, really, really cool system. So Paperback Adventures, as I mentioned, is a deck-building game with the cards are letters, okay? And you're using these letters to build words. And in the original game, you're using this, you're using these words to try to outscore your opponents. Get more bubbly. Paperback Adventures is I've played it solo, but it's also a cooperative game, I believe. I think you can play it cooperative, but I know you played solo because that's how I played it. Where you are trying to battle kind of big bads. It's like a roguelike game. Same kind of system where you're building up your deck of letters. And I love that because I like word games a lot. Honestly, and I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the list, but I already went out of order, so the whole thing's ruined anyway, right? We might as well just go down with the whole ship here. I don't love deck building as a mechanic. I like deck building as a mechanic. Is this Bruce again? Oh, yeah, it's the same one. I like deck building as a mechanic. And it's not something that, like, Tom said during their list, if I see deck building as a mechanic, I'm more inclined to enjoy the game. Z said, if I see deck building as a mechanic, I'm less inclined to like a game. The other two might have said something too. Frankly, I wasn't paying attention. For me, I'm in between. Okay? I'm ambivalent. I think that when done well, it's a very nice kind of mechanism to drive a game forward. But I feel like sometimes it's lazy. Paperback Adventures does some really cool things with deck building. All right. So here you can see a picture of it. So, maybe you're playing as Plot Hook. And so you have, there are different boxes that are different characters that all play slightly differently. Okay. And you can see there that the cards are letters and you're forming words. So an example, you can see in this picture, the word traces was spelled out. Okay. And you can splay the letters either way, left or right. And depending upon which direction you splay the cards, you're either going to have kind of more offensive abilities or more defensive abilities. And then you're also going to be able to trigger the power of whatever the top card of that letter is. Very clever, right? And you're facing off against some baddie, like in this case, you can see the shark would be the bad guy that you're facing off against. That's really cool, right? I like the how deck building is being used to build words to now have a battle game, right? It seems odd, but it works. It's very, very, very cool. All right. Let me see if there's anything else here. Is Paperback Adventures the same game as Paperback 10th Anniversary Edition? I'm almost 100% sure the answer is no. Paperback is a different game, and I believe the 10th Anniversary Edition is just that, a new edition of the original game Paperback. Maybe they've changed some production. They maybe even changed a few things mechanically. I don't know. I haven't played 10th Anniversary Edition. I've played the original game of Paperback and like it quite a bit, but I prefer Paperback Adventures. Just a really, really good game. I don't want to give away too much because I do believe this one still needs to get reviewed. I wanted to get through at least all of the characters before I tried to do that. All right, before I move forward, let's keep sure we're good here. Jason, what happened to the power? Your power is out? You're not that far from me, I don't think. I hope I don't lose power here. That would be a disaster. Hope everything's all right, Jason. Okay. I'm not going to number 4. All right. My number 7 is going to be a huge surprise. It's a Study in Emerald. Study in Emerald, my number 7. My number 7 is Study in Emerald. Okay, my number 6. So remember a few moments ago when I was starting this list and I was giving the other people in the Dice Tower studio some grief, a little bit of ribbon, a little bit of razzing? Well, I have a crossover. Yes, I have a crossover with one Mr. Z. Garcia. Yes, my number 6 is Expedition from Korea Board Games. And yes, I'm sorry, apparently this is another one that's a little bit tough to get a hold of. This is one that actually, Z didn't tell this, right? When Z was talking about his list, and he put Exhibition on his list, this is a really neat little thing that Z did. I got a kick out of this. He made it sound like this was some discovery he made. No. I discovered this game at Essen. Me and me alone. No one had ever... The designer had never even heard of this game. I saw it actually before we got to Essen. And I was looking at games I was interested in. And I'm like, this looks interesting. This looks like a little bit of a change-up on... It looked a little bit like Quest for El Dorado, honestly. And so that made me interested. And I've liked certain games from Korea Board Games. I mean, Four Seasons, I believe it's called, yes, has become a Dice Tower Essential. That started as a Korea Board Games game. And so I was interested, right? And so when I got to Essen, one of the first booths I went to was Korea Board Games. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this looks good. This looks good. And then I talked to Z about it. And then, of course, Z goes running over there because I don't want to give away too much. But anytime that I mention a game is good to Z, I can't even finish the sentence. He's off trying to find the game. He values my opinions in games so much that he bases most of his collection on recommendations from me. None of that is true. Expedition is a cool deck building game, and Z did a very good job of describing it, and I'm not going to do as good of a job. But the idea is that you are going on an expedition and you are trying to find these relics, which are going to be towards the top of the map. So if you look in this picture you're seeing right now, the red player is 1 hex away from one of the relics, okay? And you're playing cards from your hand to go through these different terrains. And so you can see why it looks like it has some elements of Quest for El Dorado, but it plays very differently because this is not a game where you reshuffle your deck just by playing through your cards. No, you have to go back to the base tile, which in this case, in the picture, you can see there's one that is a hex that has a white border around it and a number 1 at the very bottom. That's going to be that base tile. And so you have to go back to the base tile. And once you're there, that's when you can use the things that you found on your little expedition. Maybe you found some gold. You can use those to buy better cards, okay? And so you're building up the ability to go on longer and longer expeditions, which you need because those relics are going to be further along. You know this. They're going to be in those last 2 rows. And so to get that far by playing cards, you have to have a better deck. Really cool, very, very smart. And it's a game that is deceptively simple, right? Really, really good. Expedition, my number 6. Similar to Forbidden Desert. Honestly, it doesn't feel anything like Forbidden Desert to me. It's not cooperative, first of all. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like Forbidden Desert. Unless there's a certain aspect I mentioned that is like Forbidden Desert, I can't quite remember. Okay, I'm looking, making sure here. Alessandra, I promise I am not trying to make a list of games that are hard to find. I promise. It's not my intention. Does anyone in the chat know the game Mike was playing in a Dice Tower East vlog where he has to say rock, paper, scissors before a marble got to the end of the track? Thor Axion? I know that game. It's called 3 Second Try by Itten Games, a Japanese publisher. And they are coming out with English language editions very, very soon. All right. Since, again, I've got the luxury of being able to talk to the chat. Okay, here we go. That was my number 6. Let's do these in order for a while, shall we? My number 5. Hey, remember how I said the other people's list was trash? I've got another crossover, everybody. I got another crossover. This time, my crossover is not with Z. My crossover is with Tom. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due. My number 5 favorite deck building game, and very, very firmly entrenched in my top 50 games of all time, is a little game that is not little at all. It's Monumental. That's also the name of the game. It's huge, right? So Tom talked about this game and was so excited about it that I thought, well, let me take a look at this. And I was blown away. I was blown away because look at this game. It does not look like a deck builder, okay? It looks like this huge troops on a map game with minis and playmats. And yeah, well, that's true if you get the deluxe edition, right? There are editions of the game that don't have minis, that have just cardboard chits, and those are just fine too. Of course, this is an amazing production, and I certainly don't hate this very lavish, over-the-top production, but you don't need it. The game itself is a really, really solid deck-building game where if you look in the lower left of that picture, you see that playmat area. That's going to be basically your main city area where you are playing cards. Cards that you have gotten through a deck building mechanism, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to splay those cards out in that 3 by 3 grid, and you're going to choose a column and a row, and you're going to activate all of those cards. And those cards are going to do a bunch of different things. They're going to allow you to gain resources. They're going to allow you to gain other cards. They're going to allow you to manipulate your troops on that other area, which is kind of the overall. So I've mentioned before that one of the things I like so much about Monumental is that it is kind of a game that has a macro view and a micro view, right? So I think of this big kind of sprawling area there where you've got all your troops and your other players have their troops and you've got, terrain and things you've got to deal with. But then you've got kind of the inset of that, which is your card area where you're doing all of your card actions. And I love that kind of micro macro feeling of the game where what I'm doing here in front of me, the use of the cards, the efficient use of cards, the constructing and building of my deck to do the things I want to do, then get transported over to this big sprawling map. It's such a cool feel and it works so well that I feel like it stands out. Again, it's a big game, but the production kind of belies. It's a tight game. It's not bloated by any means. The production might be. You can certainly argue that the production is over the top and bloated, but the design is not. Matthew Dunstan, the designer, definitely is known for pretty elegant, streamlined rule sets. And Monumental, for as big of a game as it is not terribly rules heavy, honestly. It's not that tough to learn and teach. It's a bear to set up and tear down, but it's not that tough to teach, especially since every one of the civilizations in the game, because you choose a civilization, are slightly asymmetrical. They've got different things they focus on. You might have a more fighty type of a civilization. You might have one that is more focused on science and technology. You might have one more that's more focused on religion, which is another kind of a way you can gain points in the game. So really good. Really, really good game. Monumental. All right. Guessing 2 to 4 players. I believe it is 1 to 4. I've got it over there. I don't want to get up because that would be, bad form to get up and just leave you with a blank look. But I believe it's 1 to 4. I'm not sure. Has Monumental delivered that expansion yet? No, but I hear, I've seen pictures. I backed it a long time ago, but hoping it shows up. Bruce did not know there was a playmat for this. I could have shown you when you were over at the Annex, Bruce. I could have shown you the playmat. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here I need to catch up with in the chat. All right. I think we're good. People are apparently telling Chris I said very nice things about him. Very true, Chris. If you're still watching, I said very, very nice things about you. Number 4. My number 4 is a brand new game. Brand spankin' new. Legacy of You. Yes, Legacy of You. The solo-only campaign-style game from Garfield Games, and I believe Renegade is going to be bringing this over as well. That handles deck building in a very interesting way as well, in that you're using multi-use cards, right? The cards that you have are multi-use cards. And so when you are building your deck is almost a resource in and of itself. And I love that, right? Because you've got typical kind of Euro-y resources, clay and wood and things along those lines. But your deck is a resource. And that kind of changes your relationship with the deck building aspect of the game. All right? Because as you look at these cards, you'll see that they've got some icons along the left side there. You just look at those cards towards the bottom of the screen. You can get a pretty good view of them there. Okay? And if you play the cards for their resources, depending upon what you do, you'll get some or all of the resources. All right, so let's look at that card on the very left there. You can see a worker like a black worker and a provisions icon there. You can play that card and either get just the worker by discarding it, or you can get both of those things by removing it from the game completely, so not even having it that you can rebuild, or you can slot it into one of those slots that you see to the right of the cards there to give you something that's going to happen every harvest phase, which is kind of like a reset / income phase, right? And so the fact that these cards kind of have these multi-use effects, and the fact that one of the loss conditions is running out of your cards, means that they are a resource, right? And so again, it makes the decisions that you are making when you're choosing which cards that you're going to add to your deck, it just makes it a different feel for me. Whether that's just psychological or not, I can't tell you. I can tell you that it changes the way I feel about it. I don't just I'm like, oh, this will be a good card that I can play later. Not necessarily. This is maybe a card that I know that I'm planning to get for its harvest ability. And then I may not even be able to use it for that harvest ability, right? Or I may get a card knowing that I'm getting this card just to get rid of it because I know I'm going to need to discard it completely, right? Things along those lines. Really, really solid game, and one that I am excited to keep playing, right? Excited to keep playing. All right, come back here and look and see here. I'm not sure which one James is talking about. I'm going to assume James is talking about Legacy of You, okay? Chris says, little revisionist history from one Mr. Chris Yee. Legacy of You would now make my top 10 deck builders. He feels dumb that he literally played it the night before the top 10. Well, look, you can't help these things, Chris. These things happen. Jokes aside, this happens to me all the time where, you're doing a list. Maybe you've already made the list. Maybe somebody has already put in the work to make the PowerPoint slide and you're like, I just played something I want to put on the list. Can't do it. Can't do it. Is this replayable? Yeah, it is. Absolutely. You can play through the whole campaign and then reset it and play it. You can play it multiple times because you're going to have different things that happen. So it is replayable, yes. And Chris co-signs me there. Very replayable. And I'm looking to make sure. Mike Delisio is amazing. My power is back. I'm not saying Mike fixed it, but I can't prove he didn't. Thanks, Mike. Jason, look, it's my pleasure. I don't like to mention my electrical prowess very often. It's something that I quite honestly, I let other people, like you, for example, Jason, I let other people hype up my electrical skills. The fact that I was able to do it live on a stream, even for me, is impressive, right? I mean, if I'm there at your house and I've got, my hacksaw and my thermometer, clearly I could take care of any electrical problem that you might have. But to do it here, live, while live streaming my top 10 best deck building games, even for myself, I'm impressed. I am indeed shocking. All right. Let's move on and let's just be wacky and try to go in order. All right. My number 3 is a deck builder that somebody asked about. Somebody asked about if it would be on my list. Somebody asked if it was going to be on my list. I'm not going to try to find it. My number 3 is Imperium. Now, I put Imperium Classics. You could also have Imperium Legends up here. They're both the same core system. That they just essentially have different civilizations. So Imperium is, I believe, the heaviest deck builder that I have played. And this is pretty much a pure deck building game, right? This doesn't have a lot of other stuff. Well, it has a lot going on, but it really is all about the deck building. And it's a very asymmetric deck building game where, depending upon the civilization that you have, your win conditions might be different. The types of cards that you have access to might be different. Lots of things. So, a very, very difficult game to teach. A very, very difficult game to learn, to wrap your head around. Not done any favors by what I must say is not a good rule book. Okay? I really, really, really struggled with this rule book. Now, I do believe that they've made some improvements. I believe with later editions, they're kind of learning from some of their mistakes. And they are already going to be releasing, I believe, maybe 18 new civilizations, somewhere in that range, right? So each of these boxes, Classics and Legends, have, I believe, I can't remember if it's 8 or 12 different civilizations in them. And again, that all play very differently. But it is, because of that complexity, it's allowed to do very, very interesting things, right? So things that I've never seen really before in deck building games, I'm seeing here. And again, it really is something that is mentally taxing for me. Maybe not for you, but for me. But because of it, it's able to do so many really cool things and so much content, right? Just one box, either Classics or Legends, is enough for me to keep me busy for who knows how long. If you have both of the boxes, it's crazy. And then if you have this third box that they're going to be releasing, I don't know, this would be all you'd play, basically. You'd have no time to play anything else. Because the game's not short either. That is something I should mention, is that Imperium is a relatively long game. It's one of the longer deck building games that I play. But it's such a impressive design, such a good well done implementation of deck building that I have it high on my list, even though it's a game that I have to mentally prepare myself for. I have to be like, all right, I got 3 hours. I want to get into some heavy deck building. I'm going to try to bust this out. I'm going to try to play, because I usually play this solo, although I have played it multiplayer. I'm going to try to, this time, I'm going to try to play the Romans against this, you could try to get really good at one civilization. That's kind of what I've tried to do, is try to wrap my head around one civilization. Then once I feel like I'm okay at it, then maybe try a different one and then feel completely useless again. All right, let me scroll down here. Did I skip my number 4? No, I didn't skip my number 4. Didn't skip my number 4. Making sure nothing I'm missing here. Okay. Do I have a fave version of this one? I probably like, it's hard. I like Legends because it has kind of some of the mythological stuff, but I've played Classics more. Thematically, I like Legends a little more. I'm more familiar with Classics, but I don't think either is a bad choice. I think if you're interested in the game and you like the game, you'll probably like either one. What I would maybe do is, if you're interested in it and you've done research to make sure it's your type of game, is look at what the different civilizations are in each box and see which civilizations maybe sound more interesting to you. So like if you like the idea of playing as the Atlanteans, maybe you'd go for the Legends box. If you want to play like the classical Greeks or Romans, you go with the Classics. Things along those lines. And let's see here. I saw another comment. Colton, excited for Imperium Horizons. Apparently that's the name of the next in the series. I could not remember. James asks, am I looking forward to Imperium Horizons? I am. I'm looking forward to it, but again, I feel like, gosh, I don't even know when I'll have a chance to play it. Rulebook is so weird. Just doesn't teach you how to play at all. Kind of true. It kind of explains what, it's like, this is this type of a card. This is that type of a card. Here's this resource. Okay, so what do I need to do? How do I win this game? It's there, but it's just, yeah, they really need to address that. 8 civilizations in each. Thank you. See, that's the other great thing about being able to do this live with you, is that something that I forget, you all can come in and get it going. This entry is not eligible for this top 10 list as it's available. You're right. Darn it! I got to stop picking these games that are easy to get a hold of. All right. Here we go. We're already to number 2. Number 2. My number 2 is the game that I felt was the most glaring omission from the other group's top 10 deck builders games lists. Because look, I've clearly had some of my favorites on here that weren't on the other lists, and I kind of get it, right? Study in Emerald, it's weird, right? That's not for everybody. Moonrakers, not going to be for everybody. But my number 2, come on, this is great. This game is great, and I can't believe no one mentioned Tyrants of the Underdark. This is such a good deck building game. And the idea about my biggest problem with Tyrants of the Underdark is that they didn't support it enough for some reason. I don't understand why the publisher did not continue to release expansion decks for this. Because the idea is you take 2 factions, you kind of shuffle them together, and you're playing as those. And they had a couple in the box, and then they did 1 expansion, and that was it. It drove me crazy. It was like, this is a really, really good game because it has elements of area control, right? So it uses deck building to drive an area control game. However, the area control is about getting the points for sure, primarily. You can get points through the cards too. But this to me is much more of a deck building game first and a area control game second. You could easily debate that. I'm sure there are people that play this and they see it primarily as an area control game that uses deck building. So you can argue it either way, right? You can argue it either way. But as soon as I played this game, I was like, oh, this game is going to be huge. I'm like, this game is going to be huge. It has a little bit of a double-edged sword. And I mentioned this if you happen to watch the FaceTime Face-Off show that I did with Dan Hughes last night. That Dungeons & Dragons as a theme is a bit of a double-edged sword, right? For gamers, for people in the hobby gaming sphere, like many people I would assume watching this are, that Venn diagram of people that would be interested in a Dungeons & Dragons theme is pretty large, right? I don't think that this theme is going to be off-putting to a huge group of people. Surely to some, but not a huge group of people in board gaming. But to a larger public, I think it can still be, kind of looked at as maybe niche or off-putting or what, I don't know. But it worked well here. I especially like this kind of element of Dungeons & Dragons, the Dark Elves. That's my favorite kind of aspect. And I'm not a big D&D person. I'm not against it. I played a little bit of Dungeons & Dragons growing up, and I've played a little bit as an adult. I've always dabbled. I've never really gotten whole hog into it. But the elements of Dungeons & Dragons that are my favorite have been kind of this drow elf, dark elf type of a thing. And so I liked this version of it, and I felt that it worked well with this game. But again, they only released 1 expansion, and it was a small little deck of cards. And I just felt like it must not have done well enough. But I think, I'm not positive about this. I thought so. And actually I can bring it up right here. Reprint was done, not sure if it was available. I thought they did a reprint of this maybe last Gen Con. I thought I remembered seeing it there. So hopefully it's available. I don't know what differences they made, if any, between the first edition and this new edition. But Tyrants of the Underdark, just a really, really great deck building game. All right, here we go. Let's check the chat. Joe says, excellent game, deck builder, and gives some tactical board game positioning to it. Very well said, Joe. Yeah, I like the fact that you've kind of got that tactical aspect too that is synergizing with the cards that you're playing. Very, very cool. Sugar Circuit says, too many expansions can be a burden. See Legendary. 100%. See Dominion. See a lot of deck building games that just throw expansion after expansion. Aeon's End. I'm not advocating for, expansion bloat because that's, the opposite end of this problem, but a couple extra would be nice because especially in a game like this, which is so modular, theoretically, that would have been nice. In the second edition, it has cardboard instead of the plastic player pieces. Okay. If that brings the cost down, then that's fine. The little plastic pieces were really teeny. They're cute, but they were very small. So they didn't need to be there. You didn't need the plastic. So hopefully that means that it came in at a lower price point, because if that's the case, then yeah, why not? Okay, just making sure. All right. My number one, I'm going to apparently be blowing some people's minds, because people that thought they would see a particular game on my list are not seeing it. My number one is a crossover. It's a crossover with Z Garcia. And it's a crossover at the same number. My number one is the best deck builder, The Quest for El Dorado. Yeah, to me, this wasn't even close. And yes, I know I'm going to catch grief for Knizia bias. Whatever. Throw it at me. Whether it was his design or not, I truly believe I would love this game, because it has two elements that work very well. This idea of a race, because in El Dorado, Quest for El Dorado, you are racing, right? Strictly a race game. That's how you win. First person to the end wins the game. The cards that you play are primarily going to be cards that allow you to go through particular terrain, right? So you're going to be playing the machete card to go through the jungle areas, and you're going to be playing the canoe cards to be going through the water. So intuitive, so easy to understand. This is a game that has, I believe, such a wide appeal, right? Because a lot of people like racing games. They understand the idea of a race, right? It's not hard to wrap your mind around it. And this is a game that I would recommend. I would play this. I would teach this to people who had no idea what deck building was, right? And you can't say that for a lot of deck building games. A lot of deck building games, you need to have some kind of a background, at least in something. You know what I mean? To be able to, I'm not going to give Imperium to somebody that hasn't played deck building games before. I'm sure some people can handle it, but I don't want to be the one to try to foist that on them. But El Dorado has a simple idea, a race. You're racing from the beginning to the end. You're going to do that by playing these cards. The cards are going to correspond to the different terrain. Simple enough. Then it has a couple of really clever little twists. One being that the new cards that you're adding to your deck are coming from a market that is out there that you can see. And then when one of those kind of columns gets emptied, the person who is able to draw a card next gets to choose what the new cards are that come into that. Brilliant. And you can see, again, you can see what the possibilities are. You can see what your options are. So you can kind of hope and plan for certain things. It's just such a smooth design, and versatile, because not only can you play it with people that don't play deck building games a lot or really don't know much about deck building games, but this scales well difficulty-wise, right? Because you can play with a very simple map layout and some pretty standard cards, or you can really make it tricky, have some brutal checkpoints where it becomes really interactive and mean if you want it to be. You can make it kind of wide open and not make it as mean, but you can tailor this game to whatever the play style of your group is. And I feel like that's another thing that is a huge positive for the Quest for El Dorado. I have had so many great sessions of this. And so that is why it is my number one. Now, I've seen mentioned a lot of different things, okay? No, don't Dune Imperium. Bold choice. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough not to put Dune Imperium on here. The reason why Dune Imperium is not on here is that because to me, the deck building is the least consequential part of Dune Imperium, right? I love Dune Imperium. I think I gave it a 9 or an 8.5, whatever. It's a fantastic game. But the aspect of the game that is least impactful to me as a player and compelling to me as a player is the deck building. That's probably why I'm terrible at it. But honestly, that's the way I feel. So that's why that wasn't there. Someone also mentioned Endless Winter. I was so ready for that too to be here. It must be biased, my number one game. Look, I love Endless Winter. It was my number one game of that year, last year. But again, this is another one where the deck building is certainly a part of it, right? It's a bigger part of it to me than it is in Dune Imperium. But still, I was trying to focus more on games that the deck building felt like, if not the core mechanic, then a central mechanic. And in Endless Winter, I felt like it was part of an aggregated whole, but a smaller part of that aggregated whole than in something like El Dorado, for example. So that's why that one didn't make it on there. And while I'm doing this, other people put up other ones that you think should be there. Liz, I agree. Great to play with gamers and non-gamers. Very versatile in that way. Good family weight deck builder. It absolutely is a family weight game. Although, again, you can ramp that up by changing the difficulty of the maps, especially if you add in some of the expansion stuff. That can also do that as well. Kabuki says, I think the best deck builders are ones where they are part of the game and not the sole focus. I think as a blanket general statement, I tend to agree with you, Kabuki, on that. I do have some pure deck builders on here. Imperium is a pure deck builder, but you'll notice that most of my games on this list are part of the game, right? I tried to make them the main part as best as I could, but I tend to also prefer where they're part. Hey, Pete. Good to see you. This versus the Clank games. All right, here's where I'm going to get a little bit of grief. I like Clank. I think it's cool. I've played it a number of times. That's about all I got for you. It's fine. I don't love Clank. I like it. I honestly didn't like Clank in Space very much at all. I liked Clank. I am intrigued by the one where the new one where you build out the map. I have a feeling I'll like that one a little bit better. I'm sure actually I would like that one a bit better, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't speak to it. But for base Clank, it honestly wasn't near my top 10. I find it a fine game. A fine game. Let's see. You're starting to sell me on this one, Mike. I seriously haven't felt like I had a deck building shaped hole in my collection, but I've touted the virtues of El Dorado successfully. Well, if you do end up playing it, I hope you enjoy it. Have I ever played Sorcerer City? I have not played it. I have not played Sorcerer City. No Astro Knights? Haven't played Astro Knights, James. And from what I understand, Astro Knights is a re-implementation of Aeon's End, and I don't like Aeon's End. Sorry, I don't like it. Don't like it. I know a lot of people. I know Chris likes it a lot. Chris and Wendy. But I just don't like it. I think Tom likes it too. Bruce asks, any consideration for summer camp? It wasn't on my short list, but maybe it could have been. I like summer camp. I think it's a really good game, and it's lighter even than Quest for El Dorado. So certainly a really good design and one that, again, I would feel comfortable introducing just about anybody to. It is simpler than El Dorado. I mean, Summer Camp, I think, is the introductory level deck builder as far as weight of game, right? Still a good game, though. That's not a pejorative thing by any means. Hey, Bonsai Nader, I love this game. You have good taste. Okay, making sure there's nothing else in here. Star Wars deck builder I have not played, Mike. Haven't played it. Here we go. Here's one that was close on my short list here. All right, I've got my short list sitting right over here. Dale of Merchants was on my short list, Joker. Love how modular it is and how quickly I can tailor the game type. Especially with the online tool, which I haven't even messed with. I haven't even messed with the online tool for this game, for Dale of Merchants. And I think this was on Z's list. I would be surprised if it wasn't, because I've played this with Z. I know he likes it a lot as well. Yeah, it would be, it's right there, hovering right outside of the top 10. Another really cool game, Dale of Merchants. Okay, making sure. For Glory, I'm not familiar with, John, or... Yeah, I don't think I've played this one. Don't think I've played it. Okay, making sure that there's nothing else I'm missing here. My hot take on Moonrakers is that it's my number 9 favorite deck builder, Rick. I like it. All right, making sure. Just Viking Seesaw, the deck builder. Look, if anyone can make this happen, it would be one Dr. Reiner Knizia. But I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening. Pete's favorite are 3 that I have not played. Apex, Star Wars Deck Builder, and Duffers. Have not played. Okay. Wow. Love this chat. You guys are doing great. Okay. I'm going to move forward, okay, because still got a review. This is what I'm going to be going to next. I'm going to go into a review, a live review. And you know exactly how much I'm giving it now. That wasn't supposed to be there, folks. Close your eyes. That wasn't there. World Exchangers. It's live! World Exchangers is a game from Emperor S4. Okay, I've got it right here, and you can see it right there on your screen. This is a game that has a bit of a economic aspect to it. All right, it's a relatively simple game mechanically, where on your turn, you're either going to be buying a card or selling a card. That's it. Not much more to it. But what more there is to it, I'm going to show you right here. Let's go to the table. Let me give you a brief overview on how it plays. And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to let you know what I think, because you have no idea. You've got no clue what I think. You have no hint. You have no foreshadowing. You got nothing. And maybe this gives me time to change my score. By the time, you don't know. Maybe when I watch this overview, I'm going to see something new and go, you know what? I didn't even think about that. It's time to change the score. Let's go to the table. All right, here we see World Exchangers. Every player is going to have their own player board that they're going to either set to the A or the B side, and they recommend in your first game you put it on the A side, like we have here. You're going to randomly be dealt 3 starting city cards, and what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what the face value of those cards are, looking right here, and you're going to subtract that number from 1,300 to be your base income. So right here, I've got 1,000, and so I would start right here on this axis, you can see, at 300. 1,300 minus 1,000, 300. Even I can do that math. Then you're going to get a starting character card, randomized. They may give you some type of a symbol that you'll have at the end of the game, or you may get a stele here that lets you start 1 space higher on this propaganda track. So let's assume I had that. On your turn, you're only going to be doing 1 of 2 actions every single turn. You're going to be playing through 12 rounds. You're either going to be buying a city card or selling a city card. So right here you see a market of 5 cards that are available to be purchased. I have $300 that I could use to purchase those cards. So clearly there are 3 of these available cards that I have potentially available to me. I could not buy New York or Mexico City because they're more than the money I have right there. I also could choose to sell these cards that I have in front of me. The value that I would get is right there on the card itself. All right. So if we look at Taipei here, I would sell this, I would get $400. However, if you look down here at the bottom, it tells you that during particular rounds, this card will be worth an extra 100. So if I sold this in round 2, 3, 6, or 10, it would be worth 500 instead of 400. So maybe what I'll do is I'll hold off and I'll go ahead and I will buy San Jose, okay? Spend the last 300 that I have. I'm going to draw a line from 300 down to 0 to show that that is what I spent at this point. So now I've got nothing. I'm not buying anything next round. I'm going to be selling for sure. All right. Players will continue to do that in order. This does not get refilled until you get to 2 cards, or when there are 2 cards there, then you would refill that market. It also is going to get refreshed at the end of the 6th round when you're going to be doing a scoring. There's two kind of special scoring cards, one at the end of the 6th round, so halfway through the game. This is saying the player that has the most city cards is going to get a bonus of +1 on the propaganda track. At the end of the 12th round, the final round of the game, this is saying that if you can ever get bottomed out here or topped out here, you can get up to 600 at the end. And I've already done that. That was one of the reasons why I maybe would want to buy that card in the first round, because I've already fulfilled 1/2 of this card by the end of the game. So as I said, other players will go ahead in clockwise order and continue to take their turns. When it comes back to me, I might be incentivized here to sell this Taipei card because we're in the 2nd round. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to be getting 500 instead of 400. So let's say I did that. When you sell a card, you place it back into the display. And even if there were already 5 in there, you could have more. So I sold that for 400. Goes right through. And one of the things that you'll notice is that when I did that, I went through this space on my player board that shows that propaganda symbol. So I would move that up. At the end of the game, there's going to be a majority scoring for that. So in a 2-player game, like we have shown here, if you are on the top of that chart, you'll get 500 points at the end of the game, and persons in last place will get none. That would change based on player count. The other thing you're going to notice is that there are a number of different types of symbols that are on this sheet. As you are going through the rounds, buying and selling, there are going to be times that you cross through those symbols. At the end of the game, you're going to get scoring based upon how many cards you have with that correspond to that. Like, for example, those green symbols, you're going to want to have green cards because they're going to be multipliers at the end of the game. Those are cards that you'll have in your display. The only thing that gets evaluated in the game are moving up these propaganda. Otherwise, these all get kind of evaluated at the end of the game. There are also these spots right here, which are special profit spots that at the end of the game you have to actually land on them. You can't go through them, but you're going to get points depending upon how many of those you can go through. One other thing to point out is that you'll notice on some of these cards, in addition to these special extra points you get, you have these red spots here. That means that if you were to sell this card in that corresponding round, in this case the 10th round, not only would you get the extra money, but you're going to get what's called a celebration bonus. So let's say that I'm doing my thing, I'm buying and selling, I'm buying, selling. Now we're going into the 10th round. I sell that card for 500. Actually, let's say that I had gone a little bit further down here. I sell that card for 500. Then what's going to happen is, because it was during that 10th round, in addition to that extra 100 I got, I'm going to draw a circle around that spot, and I would get all of those symbols as well. So you can see it's a pretty big potential bonus that you can get by triggering off those celebration bonuses. And you're going to continue to do this, buying and selling, until you get through 12 rounds of gameplay. You'll be moving up this propaganda track as well. At the end of the 12th round, after you have evaluated the scoring card for that, and again, there are a number of these different scoring cards. Those are just kind of randomly picked. You're going to do a relatively large amount of scoring that you could track on the back of the propaganda cards. So there's a whole bunch of things. I'm not going to go into all of them in detail, but you'll be looking at the face value of the cards you have left. You'll be looking at the amount of money you have left here at the end of the game. You're going to be doing those multipliers that I talked about by the particular, yellow symbols with the yellow cards, green and blue. You're also going to be counting up those profit stars, your scoring cards, looking at the majority bonus there on the propaganda track. All right. That, in a nutshell, is World Exchangers. Let's head back and I'll let you know what I think about it. Yeah, because you have no idea what I think about it, right? I mean, just based off of that overview, Mike can go anywhere he wants. Who knows what Mike thinks? I don't know what Mike... Do you know what Mike thinks? I don't know what Mike... The guy out there mowing the lawn really loud, does he know what Mike thinks? I don't know. I can guess. I can hear him. I can tell you that. I can hear him. So, World Exchangers. This is a game that... does some things very well. Let's first talk about the production, okay? This is a relatively small box game, and it packs a nice punch for what's there, right? It's a game that is very simple to teach, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that on your turn, you're doing one of two things, right? And so I like that. The production is good. The card quality is good. The dry erase markers work fine, although, look, talking about dry erase markers in a game is neither here nor there. You end up having to replace dry erase markers almost every time, no matter what. So if you're a gamer that plays, roll and write or flip and write games, you probably have a drawer full or a shelf full of markers and pens and things along those lines anyway. So not an issue. But the player boards, they all work very well, and I'm very glad they went with the dry erase rather than the sheets. A, it would have made the box larger, and B, it would have been consumable when there was absolutely no reason for it to be consumable. All right? So, good components. People already here in the live chat were oohing and awing over the big, chunky acrylic cubes, which were much bigger and chunkier than they needed to be, but I'm here for it. I like those cubes as well. So, component-wise, art-wise, which was, the art is sparse. I mean, you could tell they're kind of going for almost like a Blade Runner type of a vibe to it, and I think that works. It works fine. I like the art. It's not a lot. There's not a lot to the art there, but what's there is fine. What is more important to me is that the cards are easily readable, right, across the table, because you need to be able to easily evaluate what are on those cards. Not only the values of the cards, which are going to be simply, 400 or 500, those are easily seen, which is good, but also there are some icons on the cards, and I didn't mention this in the overview. Sometimes when you buy a card, that's going to give you some icons that can add towards your endgame scoring, or they may actually remove some from you as well. And so that has to be a consideration you make when you're choosing whether you want to buy or sell a card as well. So, component quality, good. Iconography is fine. There's not a whole lot of iconography to it. Although it looks like there's symbols everywhere, it's really just set collection. Not complex at all. The yellow symbols go with the yellow cards. Green symbols go with the green cards. Simple as day. All right? So, nothing wrong with that. The gameplay. Okay. I've already mentioned that I like how simple it is to learn and teach. You're buying a card or you're selling a card. That is it. It's a very, very narrow decision space, okay? Maybe too narrow. I wouldn't have minded if there was a little bit more that I had to consider rather than buying or selling a card. It feels like oftentimes the decision was obvious, right? It was like, okay, well, gosh, we have an endgame scoring card that wants you to either bottom out or top out. Like I showed you in the overview, I start at $300. I've got a $300 card. Well, yeah, I'm going to sell that card because it's going to give me one of those two scoring elements. Did I have to make that decision? No, but it seemed like an obvious decision to me, right? And so oftentimes goal scoring cards give you direction. These give you almost imperatives, it feels like to me. It's like, okay, well, if these are the scoring cards, I've got to do these things. Rather than I'd like to, or it'd be nice if I'm doing these things along the 15 or 20 other things that I'm doing. Oftentimes in games, those cards can even be red herrings where they kind of distract you from what you really need to be doing. It's not the case here. They're kind of very obvious. Now, I will say that the game, the overview, the version of those cards I showed you were kind of like the basic level cards. There are some more complex cards that might add to that decision space a little bit. All right. So full disclosure, most of the games I played were with more of the kind of the A side of the cards. You also have B sides of the player boards. Perhaps, that would widen the decision space. I'm sure it would widen the decision space some. I don't think it would be a huge variance in the choices that you're making in the game between the kind of the A sides of the cards and the boards and the B sides of the cards and the boards. Although, there would be an element there. The biggest issue that I have with the game is the end game scoring. And it's because this is one of those games where you're spending almost as much time adding up and totaling up your score as you are playing the game. Slight hyperbole, but closer to truth than I would like, right? You're scoring for everything, it seems like. You have to flip over that thing. It's like, okay, all right, so everyone, where are you at with your money? Okay, so money, we're doing this. Okay, what's the face value of your cards? Everyone's adding up the face value of this. Okay, face value of cards, this. All right, now, every single type of symbol. Let's score every single type of symbol. Yellow symbols times your yellow cards. Okay. It was tedious to me, and it felt very, very rote, right? Just kind of mechanical and by the numbers, literally and figuratively. And I understand that this is a game that is really, it's got economics kind of built in. It's an economic theme. You're buying and selling cities. I don't know if you're literally buying and selling the cities or if you're buying and selling influence or things along those lines. I didn't get deep into the thematic lore of the game, but I'm whatever. So there's an economic element to the game for sure. But it still felt like there was too much at the end for what you were doing, for as simple as the game was, which is buy a card, sell a card, draw a line on your sheet. That's it. For it to be so much of go step by step by step by step and score 15 different things, that to me was what made me go, it's close. It's close. You're going to be shocked, folks. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Can't quite recommend it. Now, it is not a bad game. The things that I like, I think are very good. I like the fact that, again, it has a simple structure. I feel like I can teach this to just about anybody, right? This is a very, very easy game to wrap your mind around. Almost gateway, right? Not much beyond gateway weight game. And I like the fact that you're kind of creating this chart in front of you. It's a neat little gimmick, a hook, right? At the end, it looks really cool, right? But that end game scoring is just so much more work than I feel like it should be, so much more effort than I feel like it should be, that at the end of the day, I came this close, but I could not quite recommend World Exchangers. Close, but not quite there. And as we see in here, pretend to be shocked. Pretend to be shocked at that 6 out of 10. Look, this is how... Let me just go ahead and put it out there. I put that 6 out of 10 up at the beginning because I have to appear fallible. That's really what it is, right? If I don't make a mistake every now and then, or make a mistake every now and again, then look, people are going to just be intimidated. I'm fixing Jason's electrical problems from miles away. Look, I am a human being. I am fallible. I drink my bubbly just like everybody else. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is World Exchangers. 6 out of 10. Not a bad game, but not one that I can fully recommend and endorse. All right, let's take a look at the chat here. See what's happening before we get ready to go to some Oink Games. You're human like us? Gasp! Mike, it's true. I hate to shatter any dreams or illusions that may be out there, but yes, I, like you, am merely flesh and blood. Yes, indeed. The common man, one might say. Yes. Humble Mike. What do you think are some of your weaknesses? Why are you're applying for a job? What are some of your weaknesses? Well, I think perhaps I'm too humble. Those types of things. Look, I put peanut butter and jelly on toasted muffins just like the rest of all of you. Right? Gotta love. Super sticker from Jay Rodriguez. I don't get to see the sticker, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to describe the sticker that Jay Rodriguez sent. It's a sticker of a Shiba dog saying good job while raising his thumb up. Thank you, Jay. And thoughts on the Star Wars deck builder? Haven't played it. Sorry, have not played that one. All right. Let me get myself set up. We're going to be playing some Oink Games, right? I'm going to be playing some Oink Games. Going to be playing with an app called, I think it's just Oink Let's Play, right? And the app is available, I know, for the iPhone and the iPad. I'm going to be playing on a little iPad mini here. I have to assume it's available for the Android store. I know it's available for the Nintendo Switch as well. And possibly some other things. This was asked yesterday, Kyle. I need to know how you'd get Final Girl out of the calyx. This is going to freak out a lot of people. I'm going to do it again. I know this is not ideal. There you go. There you go. It's not that bad. I would, if I had my druthers, I would, put them face out because they actually look cooler that way, I think. But also, they take up too much space. So I put them in sideways like that. Thank you, Chuck, for some more bubbly and my ninja electric skills. Well, oh, nice. Multiplayer says Steam on PC has it too. All right, let me get myself plugged in. Give me a second here. What could possibly go wrong when he tries to physically plug technology into his computer during a live stream? Nothing could possibly go wrong, right? Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I cannot hear the volume of the app. So, before I get started, I'm going to kind of ask you to tell me if the volume level on the app alone is good. That's really what I'm focused on. No one's been complaining about my volume, so I should be okay. But for the app itself, I don't want this cord to fall down. How is the volume? How is the volume of the app? Mike says, wait, you can play Scout via app? Yeah, baby. Yes, you can, and we're about to do it. Let's see how the sound is. Let's see how the sound. I'm still waiting to hear if it's blowing out. We can hear the volume needs to go down a little. App music is a little loud. Okay, I can turn that down. Let's move this down to. Turn it down to that. Okay? Now someone's saying the volume is low. All right, we're gonna put it here. Okay, so the Oink Games app has one game that comes with it for free. Okay, that is Deep Sea Adventure. All right, so Deep Sea Adventure you can play for free. All right, it also has Fake Artist Goes to New York. All right, which I have not purchased because this is not one you cannot play solo. So we're gonna, time permitting, we're gonna try to play Deep Sea Adventure. We're gonna try to play Startups, which I am terrible at Startups. Terrible. We might play Moon Adventure, which is a cooperative version of Deep Sea Adventure. We're not going to be playing what I thought it was called Mr. Face, I think. They call it This Face, That Face, but that's not one you can play solo. We're going to play In a Grove. We're going to play Fafnir, maybe. We're definitely playing Scout, starting with Scout probably. And then they have 9 tiles as well, which I didn't pick 9 tiles. All right. All of these other ones, other than the Deep Sea Adventure, is in-app purchases. You have to pay for them, okay? But the app itself is free, and the Deep Sea Adventure is free. All right, let's play Scout. So really quickly, let me just show you. Well, you've got different options, right? You've got time limit, you've got different rounds, you've got different themes you can play with. You can add as many computer opponents that you want, all right? And so Loopy is asking, how do you play these solo? You're about to find out. You're about to find out. You play against computer opponents, all right? Here we go. We're going to play as some Scout. If you have not played Scout before, you'll get a pretty good idea, I think, on how it plays. Here we go. We're going to start the game. Scout. All right, 3-round game. Shuffling those cards. Okay. So, here's my starting hand. Generally speaking, in the game, you want to have runs of numbers. Either same numbers together or consecutive like straights, basically, okay? And this game works like something like Bonanza, to the extent that once you have the cards in your hand, you can't change their order, okay? And so that's one aspect of this game. At the very beginning of the game, what you can do is you can choose to either keep the orientation of the cards the way you have them, or you can flip them around so that the number that's on the opposite side is face up. So let's take a look at my hand of cards right now. Look at the leftmost card there. You can see the number 9, all right? KM is saying Scout is best of 4. I could play with 3 AI opponents. Well, we'll go with 2 AI opponents for now, but you may be right. It probably is best of 4. Anyway, you'll get the idea. So on the other side of that 9 card is a 7. Looking at the next card over, on the other side of that 2 is a 9. All right? And so I could keep my hand of cards exactly the way I have them, or I can flip them around. Now, if I look at the other side of those cards, I see an 8 and 9 together. I see a couple of 1s together. And where it is right now, I don't love this orientation. So I'm going to go ahead and change that orientation. All right, so now you see that I've got them turned the other way around. I'm going to go ahead and select. All right, and I'm going to do that. So what the AI is doing is they're taking 2 actions that are called show actions. All right, and this is where they're taking cards out of their hand and they are placing them out on the table. All right. When it's the first play of the game, you can play any card or cards that are sets that you want. If you're going to play after an active set, so right now those 2 7s are what are called an active set, you have to do something better to beat it, right? So I would have to have either 2 8s or 9s to beat those pair of 7s, or I would have to have 3 of any consecutive cards or 3 of any cards that are alike. Right now, I can't do that, and that's why it says there are no cards to show. I have to scout. So when you scout, you're going to choose one of the cards on either end. In this case, there are only 2 cards. And you're going to pick that card and you're going to place it anywhere you want in your hand. All right. And you can change the orientation if you want as well. So maybe what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take this card, but I'm going to change the orientation so the 1 is up, and I'm going to place it right there. So that now I've got those 3 1s together. All right. And also when I play those 3 1s, now the 8 and 9 are going to be together too. So I can play those during a later turn. Okay. So that's scouting. All right. They're playing a 2 and a 3. They're playing 4 and a 5. So I've got options here. Now I could show. I could play my 3 1s. I could play my 8 and 9. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and play the 8 9. All right. So the cards that were played before are points for me now. Those are 2 points that I have. 1, 2, 3. They're scouting. There's the 2, 3 there. I think I'm probably going... If I scout, the round will end. So that's one of the ways the round can end. If someone does a show and then every other player scouts, then that ends the round. I don't want the round to end. If the round ended now, I would have all negative points here, basically. So I'm definitely going to show. All right. Let's go ahead and show... I can show the 4 and the 5. I can show the 3 1s. We'll just do the 4 5. Now I've got my 6 7 together too. I don't love that CPU A there is down to 4 cards, because that's another way the round can end. Got a couple of 2s. I can go ahead. I think I'm going to do something a little bit different here, because scout. Why did I want to scout that? I had a reason why I wanted to. Oh, I want to scout the 4. Change the orientation, put it there. There's also what's called a scout and show, which is basically once per round, you can take a scout action and a show action at the same time. Dan is saying good rules teach Mike. I don't know if he's being sarcastic. My assumption is that Dan is being sarcastic. And if that's the case, I apologize. I probably am not doing a great job, but that's the way it goes. You'll figure it out. I figured it out. All right. 3, 4, 5. I can go ahead and I could... Let's do this. Let's scout and show. Let's show you how that works. I'm going to scout this. I'm going to change the orientation. I'm going to pop it there. And then I'm going to show those 4 ones. Boom goes the dynamite. The reason why is that I don't want the A player to be able to go out. When they scout cards from you, you get a point. You can see those little tokens coming towards me. Oh, good. Dan's being serious. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Pair of 8s. I could scout one of them, or I could play the 3, 4, 5 if I wanted to. I think it's in my best interest to just go ahead and show the 3, 4, 5 now. I could show the 8, 9 actually. But that makes it easier for CPU A to beat that. So I'm going to go ahead and show the 3, 4, 5. Points for me. Because I was afraid, I was afraid if I played a lesser hand, then the A player there would have just ended. So I'm in pretty good shape here. Because I can play the 6, 7 or the 8, 9. Let's go ahead and just play the 6, 7. All right. My biggest concern at this point is player 2 going out, beating this. Okay, good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to be able to win this hand. I'm not going to end up with any negative points. It says if you scout, the round will end, but I believe if I show, the round will end as well, because those will be my last 2 cards. And then I'll also get that point. There we go. Round 1 finished. No minus points for me. And the CPU players get minus 1 point per cards left in their hand. All right, so -2 and -3 for them. So, all right, okay. Feeling okay at the end of round 1. Round 1 of 3. Mike brings up a good point of... I can't think of the word. Yeah. Pairs with the same amount of cards will always beat a straight of the same amount. Yes, so basically equal numbers are stronger than consecutive numbers. All right, here we go. Let's see. Do I like this orientation? I got a 6, 7. I've got a 7, 8, 9 already here. Ooh. I'm pretty happy with this orientation. I'm going to keep it as is. All right, so I could play anything I want. So in a situation like this, I like to try to play cards that are sitting in the middle of a potential run. I don't really have anything like that right now. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and play this 7. Because that's kind of just sitting there. It's not going to really do anything for me. Clarification is the word, Jason. Thank you. Yes. Point of clarification. I've been struck unintelligent. Oh, wow. If I scout, the round will end. Well, let me tell you something, baby. I ain't scouting. Let's just go ahead and play the 1, 2. Scouting, we're scouting. We're showing. Wow, they're playing a lot of really low cards. To me, what worries me about that is it means that they are probably building up for some big, some big play here. Man, what I would love to do would be to get a 5 and a 6 and go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I could scout this as a 5. I'm going to take a risk. I'm kind of going for a big play here. I may get hosed on this. Ooh, I want that 6. I want that 6! Can't get it. Neither of those are 6s. You jerk, CPU. All right. Is that available PC or console? I believe someone in the chat said that this is available on Steam. So I believe so. Dan hadn't realized it's a don't reorganize your hand. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things about it. It's very underused, right? Like, Bonanza is the kind of the classic example of this. But yeah, it really, it adds a nice little bit of kind of delicious tension to it. All right. We got 7 and 8 here. Oh, do I just go ahead and... This is an interesting one here. This is an interesting one. I think... Do I just scout? I take a little risk by scouting here. I'll go ahead and scout the 8. Pop it here at the end of my hand. What I'm afraid of is that I'm trying to build up for this big... This is one of the things that can happen. You try to build up for a huge thing, and then you get kind of hosed on it. Oh, you left me the 6! You moron! Oh, wait. If I scout, the round will end. But I'm not going to scout. I'm going to scout and show. Get ready. You're about to get wrecked. Here we go. Let's change that orientation. Let's put that right there. Let's do that. Here's a whole lot of points for your pal, Mike Delisio. Kabam! 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's going to be a lot of scouting. Just give me all the points. I'll take all the points. That's a point for me. That's a point for me. I want another point. Oh, it's back. Oh, that's it. I just rocked it. All right? No minus points. Look at that. -9, -11. Shocking how badly I embarrassed the Oink Games AI. I feel bad, honestly. I feel a little bit embarrassed how badly I knocked out that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew, that was so satisfying. All right. Love me some Scout. All right. Let's take a look at this. This is the third and final round here. I've got a 7, 8. I've got a couple of 3s. Got a lot of 3s. I've got a 1, 2, 3 in this orientation. On the opposite side, looking at those other numbers, I don't really think I'm that happy with it. Let's just stick with what we have. We're going to stay with this orientation right here. All right. I'm going to be showing. Let's see. Do I just show them? Let's just show this 3. We'll just limp out into the hand here. We said humble earlier, right? Look, Blake, I'm a humble man. I win my scout games just like the next person. Blueberry pomegranate. That is some carbonated blueberry pomegranate, if I've ever tasted it. All right, we're looking at a 6, 7 here. Oh, I don't know that I would mind scouting either of these cards. I can do a 7, 8, 9 or a 6, 7, 8. Let's go ahead and scout the 7. Pop it right here where I'll just leave it right there. It's right where I want it. Okay. Got a 4, 5. Oh, you're scouting that, huh? Just sticking with a 5. All right, well, let's just start dumping a couple of cards here. Because now that'll leave the 1... Well, I'm going to use the 1, 2 for the 1, 2, 3. Is Scout a trick-taking game, or am I misreading the chat? I think, yes, you can kind of consider it. Who are you playing with? I'm playing with the AI, basically. They have AI opponents. Set collection, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure I would call it a strict set-taking game. Or a strict trick-taking game. I mean, it has some of the tropes of that, but okay. Definitely not going to be scouting unless I do a scout and show. Oh, let's do a scout and show. That works well for that. We're going to pop that right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, you can do that scout and show 1 time per round. And that little token gets flipped over when you do so. All right, there's a point for me. Oh, another. Okay. Now things are going to get a little tricky here. I can beat that, though. I can beat that with my 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Ladder climbing is probably a closer... Yeah. Shedding. I mean, it's got a little aspects of a lot of these things. Ooh. Came out with the Devil's Hand. The purpose of the cars is basically to remind you that you can only take that particular action called Scout and Show once per round. So you flip it over to show that you've taken it that round. At the end of the round, you'd flip it back up to show that you can still do it. All right. I cannot beat that, so I've got to scout it. But that's fine because it works for my 6, 7, 8 just fine. The only problem is if they scout one more time... Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, that did end the round. Ah, I got hosed. Got hosed there. Lost 5 points. Well played, CPUA. Well played. But I don't think enough. Whoa, made it close, though. Look at that. CPUA came in real close. Almost pulled it out at the end because I got a little bit too confident in that final round and was kind of slow playing things a little bit. But still narrowly held on to the victory there. Narrowly held on to the victory. All right, so 19 for me, 16 for CPU-A, and -3 for poor CPU-B that I'm going to name Dan Hughes. All right, so there was Scout. Oh, well, we're doing good time-wise. We still got some time. We may even play another game of Scout later on. Who knows? I really like Scout. Let's play a game I'm much worse at. This one, I'm going to tell you, this one is a little bit more complicated. Startups is a little bit more complicated. And so I'm not going to do a heavy rules teach. I'm going to play through a little bit of this. Let's do 3 rounds. We'll do 3 rounds of startups, okay? And I think the best way to learn this is to kind of see what's happening, right? And go from there. And I am terrible. It's probably not a trick-taking game. I think, again, a ladder climbing game or a shedding game would be a better definition. Is this only available on Steam? No, I'm playing it on an iPad right now. So I know it's available on iOS, and I believe probably available on Android as well, although I'm not positive. All right, let's play us some startups, and I will keep this a 3-player game, me against 2 of the computer opponents. All right, my avatar looks like George Lucas. Yeah, it does, right? I was trying to be honest when you choose your avatar, right? Yeah, I was trying to say, like, look, my hair is getting a little gray here, right? I've got a lot of gray showing. I'm not ashamed of it. I lean into the gray. And that was the closest thing I could find. But you're right, he does look a bit like George Lucas. Closer to canasta rummy rather than spades or euchre. Yeah. Look, with a lot of these card games, the different variations can be a little bit tough to a lot of times there are riffs on certain things. All right. Let's see, anything else? Shedding as well. Yep. Making sure there's nothing else. I'm just checking out the chat here, making sure there's nothing I need to answer any questions about. Don't really want to pay $30 for Scout. Well, I can understand that. It's a small little card game. I have the Oink Games version, which is the one that I think is most available now. Looks like that. There were earlier versions of it that are... I can't remember the name of the original publisher. A Japanese publisher also, I believe, but I can't remember who was that publisher. I thought that you can get Scout for like $25, but maybe I'm wrong. The app is $4.99, so that's true. That's a cheaper way to play it. Okay, startups. Here we go. Again, I'm terrible at this game. I'm just putting that out there. I've won one round, right? I've won one round. Okay, so at the beginning of the game, 3 cards are randomly removed from the deck. So that's one thing to know. Okay? So now it's my turn, so I'm going to take a moment to kind of just give you a little bit of background. There at the center of the table, you can see little chips, okay, that are called anti-monopoly markers. And they represent the 6 startup companies that essentially you are investing in, all right? And so that means that there are 6 different suits of cards in the game. And they all are going to have the number in the upper left to tell you how many of those cards are in the deck. So if you see in my hand here, I've got 1 of the EMT company. There are 10 of those cards in the deck. 2 of the, what are these called again? Oh, I have to draw first. I don't remember. You'll see in a moment. But the 2 blue cards, there are 6 of those in the deck. All right. At the beginning of your turn, you have to draw a card, and then you have to place a card either in front of you, like CPU-B did there. They played a card in front of them, or you place it in the market, which means that other people can take it, which is going to be the area where it says startups there. You'll kind of see how it works. So here, let me draw a card first. So you'll notice, and there is my phone. I'm turning that off. That's fantastic. All right. You still got me? Still got me? I haven't been, I need to turn on Do Not Disturb. Because that was a spam call. Where's my Do Not Disturb? I'm still here, right? I'm not, yeah, it looks like I'm still alive. Where's my Do Not, I'm just going to put it in airplane mode, maybe. Don't want any more phone calls. All right, good. You're still here. Okay. So you see that yellow border around the 7 card? That is because that's the card I just drew. I can't play that card. So I have to play one of the other 2 cards. The thing is, when you play a card that gives you the monopoly, that you have more of than anybody else, right? That means that now you've got some limitations. But I've got 2 out of those 6 cards. I don't want to do anything yet. I'm going to take this 10 card and I'm going to put it on the market, all right? Leave it out there. I'm slow playing a little bit. So they drew that. They drew that. Now, CPU-B there is going heavy into, they're going heavy into playing cards. So I'm going to draw a card. Now, what is nice here is that I can play a 6 and it won't take that anti-monopoly token, because generally speaking, you don't want those tokens limit you from doing certain things. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm my share. I'm now competing with CPU-B there for the, and now what's great. Now you might wonder, why didn't they take that 6 card that's sitting in the market, right? Why didn't they take that card? Because they know that I'm in on it now. The reason why is that when you've got that anti-monopoly token, you can't take a card from the market. So now I'm taking it. I benefit. Hello. And now I have a choice to make. I'm not going to play the other 6 because I don't want to take that anti-monopoly token. And I'm thinking I might just go ahead and toss that 9 into the market. All right. So right now I know that I can potentially... Oh, interesting. Oh, boy. All right. Dan is making threats to do terrible things in the chat. That's fantastic. All right. So CPU-B there is sitting with a Monopoly chip and played a 5 card. They couldn't take the 5 card. I'm going to take it because, again, there are only 5 in the whole deck. 3 cards have been removed randomly. I'm not going to play. Do I go in on the 7? Do I fight on 5, 6s, and 7s with them? No, I'm going to go ahead and dump that 7 right now. See what happens. Because they couldn't take that. All right, so they took the 7 and they played it. It makes sense. because they knew it wouldn't give them the anti-monopoly chip. All right. Now, here's the first time you're seeing a situation where when you draw a card, if there is a card on the market that you can take, you get a penalty if you don't draw that, and instead, if you draw from the deck. So you see that -1? That would mean that I'd have to take one of these 10 coins that I have and place it on that card. But I don't really want it. So I will drop a coin onto that card, draw up, and now I've got the 7. So let me go ahead and play the 5 now. It's showing that now I'm competing with the 5. All right. They're drawing. They're dumping. They pick that up. Wow. CPUB is just dumping everything out there. They're not afraid to take those chips. All right. Do I go ahead? Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that 10. And I'll throw the 10 down because it will not give me the chip. All right. Are they going to take that? No, they're not going to take it. They're going to put a coin on it. Now, if I don't take one of those 2 cards, since there are 2 cards in the market I potentially could take, I'm going to have to pay 2. But I think instead what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and take this just so I can get the coin. The problem is that now I am kind of feeling like I want to play one of these cards, and it's going to get me the... Yeah, so now this is going to get me the anti-monopoly chip for 6s. So it's going to definitely kind of limit me there. All right, what do we got? What do we got going on here in the chat? All I know about wildlife comes from the wonderful podcast Sporadically Bored with Mike and Dan. Well, Mike, I'd argue with you if I could, but among the many other things that we mention on the 4-time losing Golden Geek Award Sporadically Bored podcast is wildlife, particularly the wildlife in and around Yorkshire, and more specifically Huddersfield, England. Let's see here. Nothing to do with what you're playing now. I was wondering where you got Treasures of Knockbay because I haven't been able to find it anywhere. I actually got it at Essen, but I do believe that Mondu Games oftentimes will have their games for sale through the Board Game Geek store as well. I know they have in the past. I'm hoping that's one of the titles that they bring over. That would be fantastic. All right, well, man, I guess, do I want to take one of those cards? I'll go ahead and take one of those cards and get the coins. And I'll go ahead and dump that 6 down. I'm pretty much letting everybody know that I'm going to at least tie in 6s, because there are only 6 of them in the whole deck. That's going there. Back to me. I'll try to go a little bit faster now. Draw a card. Nobody's playing 9s. I'm going to get rid of this 8. I don't want it. Okay, the 10s are starting to come out. Took that. This guy's not afraid, man. He's just dumping all of those anti-monopoly tokens out there. Okay, if I can still safely put a 10 down. Now, what's going to happen is, at the end of the round, the cards that are left in your hand are going to be played on the table in front of you. So everyone's going to kind of have 3 cards that they're holding on to that you don't know what they are. And you are obviously looking for majorities in these companies, that you have more cards than other players. But in addition to that, you only score if other people have invested in those companies and you have more. So if you put all the 10s out, you're getting 0 points because no one was competing with you for that. No one else had put in a share on that company. All right? All right, now the 10s are going wild. 10s are wild. One of my favorite talk shows. Game shows. All right, let's take a risk. Let's go in on 9s. Going in on 9s because it doesn't give me the token. But I feel like these are the only 4 companies I'm going to try to invest in right now. We'll see how well that works for me. Ooh, I can take that 9 too. And I'm going to take that 9. Okay. Do I take the monopolies of 10s? Do I take the monopolies of 9s? I'm going to end up taking one of them. Let's try the 9s. You people in the chat kind of getting an idea for what's going on here. It's very, very, it's very mean. I get very angry at the AI in this particular game. Oh, I could have taken, that was stupid. I could have taken that. I'll go ahead and play the 9. I should have taken that 10. I wasn't, see, I got distracted. That's all right. Oh gosh, the chat's been going, okay. Yeah, Dan is mentioning the board game shelfie roast. So we asked some people on our Sporadically Bored podcast Facebook group to send in pictures of their shelves so that Dan and I can mock and ridicule them. And yeah, we haven't had a chance to film that yet, but that's to come. All right. Well, gosh, they're almost begging me to go ahead and take this 10. I'll do it because I want the coins as well. Oh, but I have to play a card. Now this is going to give me... But I think I've got the majority here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, I clearly have the majority. But the thing is, I'm not going to get a whole lot from other people because they're going to give you points based on how many shares they have. So, for example, if you see that player on the left there, they have played 2 of the number 10 cards. Knowing that I'm going to win that, they're going to give me basically 2 3 value chips. So I'll get 6 points on that. All right. So I can't take the blue card, so I'm going to draw. Golly, nothing but 10s. Gee, I wonder what I will do. I'm going to go ahead and actually put it on the market because I'm guaranteed to win it. And no one will likely... Oh, he did take it. Interesting. Why would he take that? He must not know what I mean, he guess he doesn't know what I have. I mean, I'm happy he took it because that's more points for me. Can't take those cards because I have the Monopoly chip. A 9. Do I dump another 10 out there? Oh, no, I can't. I have to actually win the majority, so I'll go ahead and confirm that. I actually have to win the majority. If I tie, we get nothing. Oh, and he can take that 9. You jerk! I could be in trouble on 9s. I definitely want to get rid of that 7 if I can. I probably will not have time. I will probably get stuck with that 7. All right, so this is going to end the round. Let's see what happens here. Now everyone's going to dump their cards. So we each gave them 3 points because we bid 1 into the 5s. 6s, I'm going to get 3 points because they played 1 card. 7s, I kind of get host here. I have to give up one chip, unfortunately. 8s, I didn't get into. 9s, let's find out what happens here. Yes, baby! Oh, no! No! Darn it! We got nothing. And then 10s. I get 9 points there. So that's one of my better rounds of startups, actually. That's one of my better rounds of startups. Actually, that is only the second time. Only the second time that I've won a round of startups. Only the second time. Now, we could play through 2 more rounds. We could play through 2 more rounds, but I want to show off some more apps. So I'm going to clear out of this. Let's clear out of this because we got more stuff to show, right? We got more stuff to show. We got a whole lot of Oink going on. Let me show off the app that's free because if this is an app you're interested in, it's very likely that you're going to start with Deep Sea Adventure because it's the one that comes with it and it comes with it free. All right, so I'll play against 2 AIs, although you can play with more. All right, and one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to add the expansion dice because I really love what this little die adds to the game. There is a physical edition of this that I got as well at one con or another. I can't remember. I think they also sell it on their website, I believe. But it ramps up a little bit of the fun for the game. All right, here we go. Let's start Deep Sea Adventure. So Deep Sea Adventure is a push your luck game through and through. All right. Here we go. Let's go into the lovely waters. All right. So you see these different chips of different shapes. Let's go ahead and place my Explorer. Oh, press the button. You nincompoop. All right. So I'm playing as purple, and I'm going to start first, which is great. Okay. So you see these tokens of different shapes. You got kind of the triangles, the squares, the other shapes, okay? That I didn't say because I don't want to get them wrong. The further down you go, the farther away from the submarine that you start on, the higher the value of those chips, all right? And so the ones closest to the submarine have the lowest values. The further down you go, the more, again, potential value that are there. However, once you start taking chips, you're going to start consuming oxygen. This is a shared oxygen tank that all three of the players are using in this case. So it starts at 25. So let me go ahead and dive. See how it goes. Roll the dice. All right, so I rolled a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. At this point, I have a choice. I can either do nothing or I can pick up that chip. Doing so is going to do a couple of things. Number one, it's going to start consuming oxygen. And number two, because it's heavier, it's going to slow me down. So every pip of the die is going to be subtracted by the number of pieces of stuff you're carrying. So I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to see if I can get onto some of those square chips before I turn around. All right, they're going to skip me. They're going to jump over me. They are picking up. This greedy CPU B is already going to start consuming our oxygen, that jerk. Now, what that little movement there meant, they're picking up too? Gosh darn it. All right. So if you see that die, what that means is that you're going to move a number of spaces according to how many people are in front of you. So when he rolled it, or she, there were 2 in front, and so they actually moved 5. All right, I'm going to keep diving. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I am going to pick this up. All right. And now oxygen starts going down because people are carrying pieces. All right. And now, let's see. All right. So they're still diving. Ooh. Oh, you're going to get got. You're going way too deep. You're going too deep, CPU-A. CPU-A. Now, what Bonnie says, you should dive to at least middle level before you pick up and then book it back to the sub. Probably true. Here's what I'm doing. I'm booking it back and I'm going to the sub and I'm picking up as many pieces as I can on the way. All right. Go back. You'll see me turn around. Whoop. There we go. Chicken move? Maybe. Oh man, I didn't end on a piece. That stinks. I could drop the piece I have, but that would be dumb. All right. I'm going home. Oh, see? They're freaking out. What do I do? Yeah, I'm going to keep going. You got. The red and the blue, they have no chance. They're going to be left alone. Look at all that oxygen getting sucked up. It ain't happening. Yeah, turn around. That's right. Turn around. You're not getting there. Actually, they rolled great. That kind of stinks. That's why I like the expansion die, because it allows for more dynamic kind of plays. Oh, come on. Let me get another chip. Okay, good. I can at least get 2 chips out of this. Pick that up. Come on. Now, I still have to make it back. It's not a given. Yeah, you're darn right you're turning back. Man, they keep rolling really good. Although you didn't get to pick anything up. Boom, boop, boop. 4. Yep, you gotta only go 2. Again, remembering that you lose movement based upon the amount of things you're carrying. So I need to move 3. I have to roll at least a 5 to get there on this turn. Which I did not. I don't move at all. No! Do I want to drop? No, I don't want to drop. I'm going to try one more time. Oh! That may have been a mistake. That may have been a mistake. Go ahead, pick it up. Oh, you idiot. You idiot. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. That CPU-B is a buffoon. What a maroon. Yeah, that makes a little more sense. Okay, I'm going to drop 2 more. Oh, this is going to be close, folks. I got to start rolling good. Or rolling well. I'm going to move 2. Am I going to make it? This is going to be really close. I may get 1 chance. You're right, Bonnie. The AIs are too greedy. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. I don't know what that CPU-B is. Are you kidding me? Oh, he pulls out a 6. Outrageous. All right. So at this point, I need at least a 3. Okay. If I get a 3, I'm good to go. All right. I'm good. I'm back. I'm safe. Safe with 2 treasures. I feel okay with that. Deep Sea Adventures, Angela, is what we're playing. Yeah, you better pray. 5. Are you kidding me? You got so lucky. That's ridiculous. Outrageous. Outrageous. And I got a 0 chip. Oh, come on. All right, so you can see the values are higher with the squares than they are with the... And so now, those tokens go away, all right? And now it's a shorter path to the juicier treasures, all right? I can't believe they all made it back. That makes me so mad. Those greedy AIs still got back. CPU-B, you know they're going to pick up the treasure. All right. Gosh, they're all picking up the treasure on their first little dive. Watch, I'm going to roll a 1. I'm not picking that up. Even though they're already picking stuff up and they're already consuming air out of our shared oxygen tank. That's right. Keep going. Keep going deeper and deeper. Man, he's going to turn around on his next turn, I bet. Jerk. I feel like I can only maybe go 1 more dive before I have to turn around. Okay, well, at least he didn't pick up. Yes. Okay. I don't hate that. So the question here is, do I pick this up, then turn around and try to grab at least 1 more square and maybe a triangle? Because they've already picked up... The B has already picked up 2. Okay, so I've got to pick this up and then turn around on my next trip. I hope you're right, Bonsai. I hope you're right. We'll see. We'll see. Classic CPU-B, am I right? I mean, just throwing caution to the wind. They're going all the way down, and they've already picked up 2 things. They're still diving deep. Yeah, I'd be sweating too. Yeah, you're going back. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the only problem is they're going to pick up another... Yeah, they got another square cube. Another square chip. So I've only got 2 chances at getting a... Ooh! Dan, you would have turned around the first trip. You never would have left the submarine. You never would have left the submarine, Dan. Outrageous. Come on, baby. Hey! All right, I like that. I'm picking up that chip. Hello. Pick up. That's right. And now I hope I don't run out of air. Oh, I don't feel good about this. Now you go back. But you are going to... I bet they're going to pick up one of those, too. You better believe it. Watch. Oh, you didn't. Okay. All right. Yes, oxygen drops 1 per treasure you're holding at the beginning of your turn. And then you lose movement based on how many you're carrying. Oh, no. This is going to be close. I really got to get a good roll here. This would be a good time for a 6. And come on! That's not a good... That's a 1. I will not be picking that up. Dive deep or go home, Daniel says. Dan is talking a real big game. Now you're going to drop your treasures. Yeah. Talking a big game, Daniel. I am toast. There is no way I'm getting back here. You may need to drop. Yeah. May need to drop there. Here we go. Oh. Man, if I don't... I almost feel like I'm going to need to drop one here, too. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Feel like the scene in... You rolled a 9? Alright, I officially hate CPU-B. I officially hate CPU-B. And a 6. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you. Can you believe this garbage? Are you... what? Oink hates me. Here's a 9. This better be a 9. And a 9! This is ridiculous. There's no point in dropping one, because it's basically a go big or go home. You blew it! I sure did, Bruce. I blew it. I'm not dropping it. Go big or go home. I'm going. Do nothing. Do nothing. I've got 1 oxygen left. That's all I need. 1 oxygen. Watch me roll a 9. Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! I ain't gonna do it. Do nothing. I got my 1 chance. I gotta roll a 4 or higher, right? No, I need a 5 or higher. I need a 5 or higher. Here we go. Come on, baby. Yes! Bah, we are the champions. We are the champions. How about that, Dan? How about that, Dan Hughes? That's 14. Yes. Yes. Look at that. Look at that. I want, nay, demand a retraction from Dan Hughes. I want Dan Hughes to come into the chat right now, and I want him to publicly apologize for doubting me. All right? Dan, you know better. Here we go. Watch me fall directly on my face. Do nothing. Dan, that's not what I demanded. It's not what I demanded. All right. 9. And the CPU-A just keeps rolling these ridiculous. Might as well pick it up. Dan is talking all kinds of trash. What else is new? A 2. I'm not going to pick it up. I'll try to pick it up on the way back, maybe. I want to see how... I'm going to wait and see how the other divers go. If they start picking up... Yeah, see, I wish he had just done nothing. I wish he had done nothing. But I still feel like... Oh, no, they didn't. If they had gotten onto the deepest ones... So CPU-A is clearly going to the deepest. They're going to try to get at least 1. Let's see what I roll here. 4. Okay. I don't hate that. Do I go the CPU-B route, pick up this one? I'd get 1 of these, maybe a square. All right, I am going to pick this up, and I'm likely going to turn around on the next go round. Is the 3 times new to the game? I have a physical copy that does not have that. Yes, it is. And I'm going to do what I said I wasn't going to do a moment ago. Hold on. I'm still here. Although I've missed... Oh, is he going back? He is going back. Okay. So, there is an expansion die that you can get... Let me open up my box here. I think I put it in my base game box. I believe I did anyway. Let me double check. Yes. So, there's an expansion die. Here's the box. It's a tiny little game, right? And it came with this adorable little dice tray. Would you look at that? Aww. Yeah, so you can add it to the base game dice. You'd add 1. So you're rolling both of these, which you can't see very well, instead of the 2 standard dice. Okay? All right. So, he's going back. I think I need to go back too. Here we go. I am so wearing pants. Do nothing. All right. Yeah, okay, now you're going back. If CP, I'm going to say this. If CPU makes it back, I'm going to be really annoyed. I'm going to be really annoyed if CPU A makes it back. Or CPU B, I mean. Okay, okay. I don't hate that because they passed over the squares. I'm still hoping I can still get one of that last square. I can dream, can't I? Well, you know what? CPU A... Oh, no, CPU B. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes here. Yes! I got onto the square. Actually, I would have been happier getting onto the other one, but that's all right. I'll take it. I'll take this one. And if I can sneak one of those triangle pieces, I might try to do that, too. All right. I don't know. I don't see CPU getting back. I just don't see it. Well, there you go. Well, at least they don't get to pick up another treasure. They're back safely, and I don't hate that because I feel like they played, you know, a safe game. All right, let's see if I can pick up one more treasure. I cannot. All right, well, that kind of stinks because I would have liked to have picked up one more treasure. That's when I get the big roll, right? Let's see if CPU-B can make it. Let's see if they can do it. Come on. Yes. Just keep dropping that oxygen, baby. Keep dropping that oxygen. All right, he's going to drop one. Yep. Yeah, you got no chance. Unless he starts rolling 9s. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, oxygen. I don't like how he's rolling. This is garbage. He might make it. Yeah, I think he might make it. I hate everything about him. CPU 3 is a butt. Oh, you're picking it up. I hope that's your ultimate downfall. You get one chance now. Oh, he got it. All right, all right, all right. So let's see how this shakes out, folks. It's the last round. Wow, CPU A. I don't hate a 15. I hate a 17. And a 16. Wow, they took the biggest risk. Did I pull it out? It's going to be close. I pulled it out. Look at that. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah. Ha, ha, ha. All right. There you go. So that is Deep Sea Adventure, which this little game here is the free game that comes with the Let's Play Oink Games app. So if you are checking that out, you can play that game for free. And you can see it's a very fun little game. It's a really cute little push your luck dice game. It's a game that I think in person it can fall flat if you don't kind of understand. You have to play it a couple of times to kind of see, because a lot of times people just go way to the bottom and you get no chance. No one makes it back to the submarine. And so that can feel unsatisfying when no one gets any treasure. But you'll figure, the more you play, you'll figure it out. All right, so we've played, ooh, and I won a new icon. Look at that, you get a new icon once in a while, it says. That's a lovely icon. That's from one of their other games, Town something or other, I can't remember. All right, Fake Artist is a great game, but you can't play that solo versus the AI, so we're not doing that. Startups, I showed you. We can do Moon Adventure. Let's do In a Grove. So this is a little, this is a deduction game. So I want to add, how many CPUs do I want to add here? It's 2 to 5. Let's go with a 4-player game. Okay. So just to kind of show you a little bit how this app works, you've got your different options here. And this one, it really doesn't have many. but it also has a how to play, like you can literally play a video, which is very, very cool. You've got a quick start guide that kind of just shows you a little bit. And then you've got, the actual rules where it kind of plays through it. The setup goes all through the game, right? So all of the games in this app kind of do these types of things. Before I get to this, let's just say, let me check. It's been a little while since I've been able to, that's right, get wrecked, CPU-B. You got, you flew too close to the sun. Agreed 100%. This is talking still about Deep Sea Adventure, a great travel game. You can set it up on a super tiny table or airplane tray. Agree. George Lucas on a winning streak. That's right. That is right. Just downloaded the app. Is each game $4.99 or all of them $4.99? I believe each one, right? Yes, I believe each game is $4.99. So be careful with that. Okay. I'm sold on this one. Cool. Yeah, I was really... I had first heard about this app for the Switch, right? That was the one I was like, I'll probably play this on the Switch. But I've played it a lot more since I've put it on the iPad because it's you can tell, I think it's a beautiful implementation of these games. And I get a chance to play them more often because I love playing Oink Games in person. But, it depends on, a lot of times they're filler games. And so you may get them played once in a blue moon. But unless you're going out of your way to play kind of like a big group of filler games, you're probably not going to have much of a chance. All right, so let's play In a Grove. So the objective of the game is that everyone is a detective, and we're trying to figure out who the criminal is in a series of crime scenes, okay? It's a very, very dark theme, but the gameplay itself is very, very silly, all right? The criminal is going to be one of three suspects. So you've got three suspects that are represented by these tiles, okay? The criminal is going to be, and these are face-down tiles in the crime scene, all right? The criminal is going to be the one with the highest number. So on the leftmost example there, the 8 will be the criminal, will be the criminal of those three suspects. However, if there's a 5 in the lineup, then it's going to switch and be the smallest. All right, so in the example on the right, the 3 will be the criminal there. The information that each player is going to be slightly different. Right? So you're not going to see everything that everybody else sees. So there's limited information. And so that allows you to try to read what the other players are doing and for them to try to read what you can do. It allows you to do a little bit of bluffing if you want to. Misdirection, things along those lines. You try to guess correctly and pin the blame of incorrect guesses on other players so that you don't get stuck with, and I love this, the inept chips. The inept chips, which coincidentally are the only chips that Dan Hughes has. He has plenty of inept chips. All right. Set up the game we're playing a 4-player game. So you're going to have the numbers from 2 to 8, and then you're going to have 1 X suspect. All right. And then we're going to have our own different type of mustache chips. That's right. Mustache chips. All right. Once the crime scene begins, the 3 subjects labeled A through C will rise up. The graphics in this are next level. I love the graphics in this. But this is their style, right? You're right, David. In the UK, these are called inept crisps. Inept crisps. All right. And then we're going to be able to see 2 of the non-suspect tiles. So we're going to have a little bit of information. We'll know 2 of the suspects are not the criminal. Okay? But everyone's going to see different ones. Nobody's going to check the D tile. They're not the criminal, but no one's going to get to see that one. And then it says in the bottom right, you can always see the numbers of the suspect tiles that you didn't check, as well as which player checked which tile. So that gives you a little bit of information, all right? As we said, of the 3 suspects, the one with the highest number is the criminal, unless there's a 5 in the lineup, in which case it will be the smallest. And then the X is never the criminal, okay? On your turn, you could check 2 suspects, except the one that the previous player looked at. So if the previous player looked at suspect B, you couldn't look at that. If you're going first, you check the 2 leftmost tiles, all right? Make sure this is not something I need to know about. Okay. Place a chip on the suspect. All right, or a crisp, Dan. If that makes you happy, place a crisp on the suspect that you think is the criminal. You can place your chip on a suspect even if you don't know their number. If there's already a chip on the suspect, you place yours on top. The players taking their turns later should think carefully about tiles that they won't be able to see anymore. Try to make players taking their turns later guess incorrectly. You may even purposely place your chip on a suspect that isn't the criminal to try to fool people. To the right of the player list, you can see which suspect each player checked and guessed. Once everyone has placed their chips, time to unravel the truth. You'll reveal, and according to the criminal conditions, they will be figured out. The last player to place their chip that isn't the criminal receives all of the chips on that suspect. They become inept chips. The crime scene is closed. Change the turn order. And then once one player has either 5 inept chips or the 7th crime scene is closed, the game ends. The player with the most inept chips is the loser, and then you go down in rank. All right, let's play us some In a Grove. All right, here we go. So they tell you the numbers that are used for a 4-player game: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the X. All right, so I'm getting some information. I know the criminal is not 3, and I know the criminal is not the 4. Okay, so that's all I know right now. I know 3 and 4 are not the criminals. And now I have to look at 2 suspects. Interesting. So the 5 is there. So I know right now the 2 is potentially in the game. So really the question I have to ask myself is one of 2. Is suspect C there either the X or the 7 or the 8? If that's the case, then the 5 would be the killer because it would be the lowest number. But I think the odds are higher. Gosh, no, they're not. Because I know it's not the 3 or the 4. So the C would have to be a 2. C would have to be a 2 for 5 not to be the killer. I'm putting the chip on 5. C would have to be a 2 or an X. Let's see. Okay, so they're all looking. You can tell what they're looking at. Yeah, see, I think I may have pulled it off. Let's unravel the truth. There's the 7. It's the X. Okay, so I was right. Because the 5 is in there, the lowest number will be the murderer, the criminal, and that was going to be 5. All right, so I guessed correctly. Thankfully, I saw that 3 and the 4. If I didn't see the 3 and the 4 there, I probably would have bet on the C. All right. Let's get those inept chips moving. That's right. There's an inept chip for you, CPU-C. Yes. All right. Here we go. Crime scene number 2. I wouldn't want to live in this city, man. There's people getting knocked off every 5 seconds. All right. Here we go. Let's confirm the alibi. Who are not the criminals? The 2 is not the criminal. And The 3. Wow, again, the low numbers. The low numbers. Loopy, thanks for coming by. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat. All right. Okay, so I have to look at A and C. Interesting. So the 5's in the mix. CPU A, CPU A played on the B. So I know 2 and 3 are not there. So for B to be correct, that would have to be a 4. The only way that B is correct is if it's a 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the odds, and I'm going to play it on the 5 again. It could be a 4. I mean, they looked, but I'm going with the 5. I'm going to guess because my odds I think are better that the 5 is the criminal again. I mean, that B could be a 4, and I may have just messed up. Gosh, we've got guesses all over the place. Uh-oh. But they may not have seen the 5 there. Here we go. Let's unravel the truth. No! Oh, but I think I'm still okay. I'm good. I'm good. Because that means the B is going to be what? Like an X. Right. Okay. Yes. Who's the best detective? The one with the purple mustache. That's right. That's right. Look at all that ineptness. I've never seen such an inept police detective force. This is outrageous. How do you expect to solve any crimes in this town when you're so inept? Wow. All right, here we go. Round 3. Round 3. Here we go. Let's confirm the alibi. So who do I know has a checked... All right, 8, you checked out. Your story checks out. You're safe. You're innocent. 2, you're also innocent. You check out. So the high and low end are knocked out. They're innocent. Okay, so here we go. Detective Delicio. I like the sound of that, James. I like the sound of that. Yes. I can live with Detective Delicio. I'm out of the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is a great show, by the way. Who in the chat likes Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I was surprised at how much I liked that show. Really, really funny. Okay, so based on what I'm seeing here, I know the 8 is not the murderer. Okay? 2 detectives have picked B. If B is a 5, then the correct answer should be A. So I'm going to go ahead and bet on the 7. I'm going to go ahead and bet on the 7. Let's see. Let's unravel the truth. All right. There's the 3. There's the 4. Yes. Look. It's hard to be humble when you keep catching the perps. Right? I mean, it's hard to be humble when you just keep catching the bad guys. CPUB, I'm getting ready to take your badge. I think we've seen enough of your detective work. Private Eye Mike, where the dot in the eye is an actual eye. That's your logo. Well, I like that. Terry Crews is amazing in that show. 100% fantastic in that show. I think everybody is amazing in that show. Really, really good. And Andy Samberg is somebody that it depends on their... I like some Andy Samberg stuff, and other stuff doesn't work as well for me, but I think he's really good in that show. Really good. All right. So let's see here. I know that 4 and 7 are innocent. 3 and 6. So for A to be correct, it has to be an 8. There is a chance that that is an 8. Otherwise, 6 is the correct guess. But I know that the red detective looked at... So are they faking me out? And they are the most inept. CPU-B is the most inept detective in here. They've got 4 inept chips. So do I trust them? That they looked and that you know what? I don't trust them. I think they're trying to fake me out or they're inept. I'm going to go with 6. A may turn out to be 8, and maybe I'll have to give a little bit of prop to CPU-B. But I don't know. I don't trust CPU-B as far as I can throw them from a crime scene. This is going to be the big thing. Where do they place? Okay, I may have got. I bet that means that A is probably the 8. All right. Well, look, I just didn't trust the inept CPU-B. Yeah. The odds... Yeah, I don't know. All right, okay. I will take my 1 inept chip. I will suffer the indignity of my single inept chip. That's all right. I was hoping to get a perfect... But I'm still tied for the lead here with CPU-C. Let's see how it goes. I don't think we're going to make it through 7 rounds because I have a feeling CPU-B is going to mess up again. See, Josh said to take 6 too. I did. I thought so. I just didn't trust. You know what I mean? I have no confidence. I have no confidence. Mike Delisio. I have no confidence in the detective skills of CPU-B. Hey, I really got to throw a shout out to the lawn care people, and I do. I mean, that's a hard job, and so it's not their fault that they're doing their job on a day that I'm streaming. Okay, the 2 and the 8 are out. 2 and the 8 are out, and James, 100%. This is not the best game to play against CPUs, but I'm just trying to show off the different apps. This is much better with people because you can do the head games, the trash talking, the faces, the looks. It is a fun in-person game. Doesn't work as well with... Oh, well, this is a gimme. I think I'm guaranteed to know this because the 2 is not in the game. The 5 is in, so there's no way B can be the killer, right? It has to be C. Because of the lowest? Yeah, it's got to be C. So I think this will be the last round because CPU-A or CPU-B is inept again. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's right. Oh, and CPU-C was inept, so I think I'm going to actually win this. I think I'm going to win this by 1. No, oh, no, they won't. They don't get the inept chip. CPU-B is going to take the inept chip. So who's going to end up winning this one? I don't know who ends up winning in a tie. It's a shared victory. Okay, we both shared. I'll take a shared victory with CPU-C. Look at CPU-C. That is a detective 100%, right? I mean, I defer to CPU-C. That is a detective, clearly. Greetings from South Africa. Awesome. Greetings to you, David. Glad I managed to catch you on stream. I'm glad that you are here. Happy to hang out with you here a little bit. We got like 20 minutes left. 20 minutes left. We haven't played Fafnir yet. We haven't played Moon Adventure, but Moon Adventure is similar to Deep Sea Adventure, except it's a cooperative kind of version of that. Let's play Fafnir, and then if we've got time, I'm going to play another game of Scout, because I love me some Scout. All right. Let's go with 3 players for Fafnir. This is an auction type of a game, okay? An auction game. That last game, Tom, was called In a Grove. In a Grove. The app is called Let's Play Oink. Oink is a publisher, a Japanese game publisher. Okay. So, I probably should have shown you how this game works first, but okay. You're bidding, right, on different types of gems. The idea is this chicken is laying these gems, all right? And so it says that the score, as you can see there on the screen, the score is determined, and I'm also terrible at this game, by the way. The score is determined by the total number of gems held by all players. Whoever has the most, each is worth 3 points, right? Number one gem. You know what? We're going to go back because I want to show the score, how to play. Here we go. How to play. Let's look at the story first. The story is important. There's a chicken named Fafnir that can lay gems and gold nuggets. The brothers that inherited Fafnir have decided that the person that throws away more of their stones can receive the freshly laid gems and or gold nuggets. Look, I tell you, there's nothing in the morning like a hearty gem omelet. I do love me a good Western gem omelet. Delicious. That story is compelling. While closely watching the value of the 5 gem types during the auctions, your goal is to try to collect as many high-value gems and gold nuggets as possible. During a round, up to 20 gold nuggets and 12 of each type of gem can appear. All of these together are called stones. The player that throws away most of their stones is going to win. And it says throws away, basically, yeah, you're bidding them. While the auctions continue, collect stones that you think are going to have a high value and throw away stones you think are going to have a low value. The value of each stone is determined by the number of stones that players have at the end. The higher the number of a particular stone, the more it's going to be worth. Only gold nuggets will always have the same value. However, at the end of the round, if you get greedy and you're holding too many of the same type of gem, those gems are going to lose their value, so be careful not to collect too many. You can have as many gold nuggets as you want, though. All right? So, first player is going to get 11 stones. Everyone else is going to get 12. 3 stones get randomly chosen and thrown in the trash area. After Fafnir lays its eggs, yes, the auction begins. Fafnir lays 2 stones in the middle of the table. However, if they're the same type, they're going to be 2 more. So there'll always be at least 2 different types of stone out there. They're going to be auctioned off. The winner also gets a point chip, and that's what that little coin thing looks like. To bid, you choose your stones that you want to get rid of. However, you cannot throw stones that are the same as some that are in. You can also bid none if you want to. Starting with the player to the left, the bidding begins. The one who bids the most stones is the winner. If there's more than one, the player that bid most recently wins the auction. They're going to get the stones that are in the middle and a 1-point chip. The ones that get thrown away go to the trash area. Okay? The ones, the people that bid that didn't win, they get those back. All right? During the auction, if nobody bids anything, then you wipe it and you go again. But they go to the trash area, though. And then the winner becomes the next auction. You end the round once the one type of stone reaches the required amount according to the number of players, and we're playing a 3-player game, okay? So 7 stones is going to trigger the end of the round. Once all the stones have been laid, the round ends after the auction has been completed. Then you calculate the score. The more gems that a player have, the higher the value becomes. If the same colors have the same value, then you have a kind of a tiebreaker of the red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Okay, and that'll be, I think they have that in the play area so you can remember. The type of gem that has the most is worth 3 points. Second most, 2 points. Everything else -1. But gold nuggets are always worth a point. If you have 5 or more of one type of gem, you get nothing. But you can have as many gold nuggets again as you want. All right? That's it. If a player have 30 or more points, the game ends. So here we go. Back to the game. All right, so we've got a gold nugget out there, which I like. We've got, let's go ahead and bid my 2 blues and my green. Let's see what happens. Oh, you stink. Man, they all went in heavy. So I'm not winning this auction, clearly, but I get my stones back. CPU will get it because they were later in turn order. All right. Okay. Oh, I don't hate that. I'm going big, baby. I'm going big. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I got that. Boom, boom, boom. All right, here we go. Bidding all 4. I want all of the gold nuggets. 4. And I'm going to get it because I'm later in turn order. Oh, no, they only bid 2. That was me that bid 4. All right, maybe I paid too much. Okay, so right now it's looking like orange might be the one to bust. Bonsai I think you're right. These are the same CPUs as the Deep Sea Adventure I'm playing against. They definitely take their chances. All right. What do I bid here? I don't know that I particularly... the green might be... I'm really hoping that blue is going to be the number 1. Do I go ahead and risk a couple of these gold nuggets? How much that... I don't think the red's going to be valuable, but the green is a potential. So I'm going to bid 2. This is risky. I'm going to bid 2 gold nuggets. See what happens. I don't think I'm going to win this. Nah. CPU went in all in. All in. All right. Well, let's see. Is that going to end the round? No. Okay, we're 1 short. Okay, so yellows are going to be not worth anything. Shoot. Blues are not going to be the number 1. Looks like greens are going to be worth the most, probably. I think blues are probably going to be... I'm not going to bid on this. I think blues could still have the chance to be the second highest. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So those greens then are going to be not the highest value. Did that end the round? It did not end the round. Shoot. What are you playing this on? Is it a site or a game on Steam? This is actually on iPad. This is an app called Let's Play Oink. You know what? Peter, you're right. Can't I just steal the chicken? It seems like we're making this much more complicated than it needs to be. You take the chicken, you get all of these things. You get all the gems, right? You got gem omelets your whole life. Teach a man to steal a chicken. Omelets for life. All right. I don't really want that green. And I still think blues are going to be worth the most, so I'm not going to bid for this. Come on, don't bid, don't bid, don't bid. He bid a red. He's going to win it with that stupid red. I keep wanting this round to end. Because I think I'm sitting with these blues. I want them to be worth... Okay. Now this is not... I can't bid. I just need them to end this round. Okay, that'll do it. That'll end the round. Good. Oh no, it won't! Darn it! I had it wrong. Okay. Man. I'm gonna keep just... No, because I would even bid 1 just to try to end the round, but I don't think... I don't want the... Okay, so this will end it because they're going to win with that red, with that orange, and that's going to trigger the end. All right. So let's see here. See ya, Bonnie! How did I do? I'm so bad at this game, I just don't... I never know if I'm doing well or not. Let's find out if I did well. Okay, 19 seems good. All right, good. So I did win that round. All right. Whoo! All right. That's better than I normally do in this game. So let's see. Round 2. I think this is 3 rounds. May have time for one or two hands of scout. All right, what's going to the trap? Oh, yellows. Yellows are going to be worth not a lot. Don't want the yellows. Bid those. Do I bid the red too? And the... I'm going to bid these. You know, I'm going all in. All in, baby. Dump these yellows. Yeah, that's right. Darn it! Stupid CPU B. Hate CPU B. Alright, well that's not ideal. That's not ideal. I'm sitting... Well, the greens are good, though. I really... Oh. Ooh, boy. Alright, I'm going all in, baby. All in. All in! Yeah, I think I got this one. Yes! This might end the round, too. No, it won't. We'll be one short of ending the round. Get that garbage yellow out of my hand. Look at all those greens I'm sitting with. Maybe I'm doing okay in this game. I've never done this well. All right. Oh, shoot. You won't receive positive points if you... Ah! Look at me. Getting cocky. That's right. I don't want all those greens, and I can't... I need to bet one of them at least. So I do need to win. Let's bet one. All right, let's see what happens here. Hopefully this doesn't end and I get hosed. Okay, I think I'm okay because I'll win this bid. No, I won't. I only bid one. Oh, no, I did. I will win this bid. Okay, good. All right. I had to get rid of one of those. I forgot. I got greedy. I don't want that blue because that'll be worth a negative point. You can't win an auction with 4, 5 or more. Yeah, that's fine. I don't have 5 or more. I only got 4. Why are you still getting on my back here? All right. Do I bet? I'll bet the blue. I don't think it's going to win, but I'll bet the blue. Okay. Wow. That's going to end the round. Okay. So that ended the round. That was a quicker round. It looks like CPU-A is probably in the lead now. Yeah, they did very well there. I didn't do as well. So we have 18... 13. Oh. 10. All right. Where's my cursor? Why is my cursor acting... Whoa. I'm having cursor issues. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oh, it's only 2 rounds. And how did they won on some kind of a tiebreaker? Okay. Okay, I need to figure out why. I use only cash. I want around 6 gold nuggets. Okay. There it is. There's my cursor. I couldn't figure it out. Okay. I got a new icon. Woo! Mike gets cocky. Dan gets cockney. Very nice. Dan's not cockney, though. All right. Oh, yeah. I wish they had Kobayakawa, too. Kobayakawa. That's a good one. All right. 7 minutes. We got time for more Scout, don't we? I love Scout. Let's play some Scout. Oh, do I want to play with just 2? You know what? I'm going to back out. I'm going to play with 4. I'm going to play with 4. There we go. We could play with 5, actually. Do I want to play with a full... No, let's play with 4. Scout is an in-app purchase that you can get in this app. You won't find it under Scout. What you're going to see is you're going to find the Let's Play Oink is the name of the app. And then within that app, you'll have a number of their different games. And one of them being free, which is Deep Sea Adventure. And then Scout is an in-app purchase. All right, here we go. More Scout, because this game is the bomb. All right, let me see. Do I like this orientation? Oof, this isn't a great opening hand for me. And I don't really love it on the other side, but I'm going to keep it the way it is. I did so well the first time, I have a feeling I may get my comeuppance in this round, or in this session of the game. Okay. I can show just a 9 or a 10. Let's show this 10, because I don't like where it's placed in my hand. Awesome! My copy of Scout was just delivered 2 minutes ago. Very cool. It's a terrific game. Okay, we got a 5-6. I can beat that with a 6-7 or my 9-10. I could do a Scout and show of a 6-7-8. Seems a little early to do that. I'd rather be able to do a Scout and show of this 1, 2, 3, 4 I've got kind of set up here. So let's just go ahead and show the 6-7. I just left work to pick up this game. It's pretty awesome. Okay, 8-8. Ugh. Oh man, I want to scout. I'm going to scout and show the 1, 2, 3, 4. There it goes. Maybe a little early to be doing this. But we'll see. We'll see. I should at least get a point or two out of this. Yeah. Now, if they scout, it ends the round. Nah, they're not going to... Yeah, I figured they would show on a 2-3. Okay, so I'm going to have to scout here. Do either of these help me more than others? The 3 helps me... Oh, no, the 8, 9, 10 would be better. Okay, so let's scout this. Make it an 8. Change the orientation. Pop it over there. Hopefully the round doesn't end before I get a chance to go there. I think I'll be okay. I've never played an Oink game. Are you saying Scout is the best one? It's one of the newest ones, Joshua. So, but it is getting probably the most international, acclaim. It's got, Spiel des Jahres recognition. Deep Sea Adventure is the game that they're probably best known for because it's been out a lot longer, but Scout is up there. It's out there. Okay, I don't know if... I may not have a chance to get through this all, so let's just go ahead and show the 8, 9, 10. I may not be able to finish the whole game, but we'll play through at least another... Maybe we can play through this round at least. So it looks like some people are coming in late and maybe hasn't had a chance to see how the game plays. Town 66 is pretty good and underrated. I agree, Bruce. A tile-laying game. All right, I'm going to have to scout, unfortunately. I will scout the 5, make it a 10. Pop it right there. And I'm probably going to end on this round. Okay. Okay, good. They did something I could show on top of. And then maybe I can be lucky enough... Oh, man, am I going to be able to finish this? Let's see what happens. I probably should cut off of this right now. Who's going to win? All right. I'm going to win on the 2-3. Oh, no, I'm not. Anyway, folks, they're going to win. Okay. It's been a joy. It's been lovely. I've loved spending some time with you here on the Dice Tower Game Marathon. Stick around. We've got another live stream starting in just a moment. Momentarily. Mere seconds. But it's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed what we did here at the Dice Tower Midwest Annex. And until next time, this is me, Mike DeLisio, signing off. Stick around, folks. And remember, there's a contest from foldedspace.com. So check that out, and they'll probably mention it here in the next stream as well. Head on over to the next stream, everybody. Goodbye.